but for fuck's
Dude,
sake.
the royal wedding can wait for me, okay? I'm going to cork that royal wedding, and I'm going to cork it right now. I don't care if I'm interrupting their brunch. And we are live. Good morning, everybody. We are live for Caliber Corner number 44. We're broadcasting live from the Caliber Corner Man Cave, where we keep it 100% Poco Ghibli, as usual. We have an awesome panel joining us this morning. Topics, you might see a whole variety of topics for the next couple episodes, and the reason why is because these are all viewer requests. These are all put up there on Instagram, and so we're going to cover a variety. We just put these three together because it sounded kind of like a lot of fun to discuss. Just real quick, I want to get this out there. When it comes to the concealed carry legal protection part of what we're going to discuss, we're not lawyers, okay? We're not certified attorneys. We're just people that are looking at coverage or have coverage, and we're just going to share our perception of what's being offered on the market right now. Ghost Tactical, if you guys don't follow his channel, did an awesome video on this topic a couple days ago. If you want more specifics about more different, more options with more companies, go check out his video on that because he really gets into detail into the specifics of what you get. I think you're going to see a lot of features in common as we discuss the different companies for this concealed carry legal protection. But before we do that, let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves, and then we will see who's joining us on the YouTube side and the gun channel side. I usually do that first, but then we have like 50 people joining after we get started. So starting on my left, Sandhill Shooter, what is new in your world, bro? What's going on, man? Oh, he might have stepped away for a cup of coffee. Oh, no?
No, he just can't hit his mute button or unmute button.
Don't worry about it, man. It's all good. It's all good. How are you? Is it raining up in northeast Nebraska? It's pouring buckets outside here in central Nebraska.
It's not pouring. It's just a real light, gentle rain right now, and I haven't even looked at radar yet today to see what's coming. But
all right,
yeah, there's talk about rain all day. I'm DJing a friend's wedding reception tonight, and she was worried it was going to rain on her wedding day. So yeah, she's getting rained on. I don't think they'll be doing any outside pictures today.
Hey, tell them it rained on my wedding, and it's lasted 37 years so far.
Well, I've always heard that old saying that if it rains on your wedding day, you're going to be wealthy. So, hopefully
that's bullshit.
Hopefully they end up.
Tony, you have your health. You have your health, buddy. Come on, man.
No,
that's the most important thing. You're upright. You're respiring. That's all that matters. You're with us.
I'm actually on my way into work right now, so I will hang as long as I can.
Cool. Let's hope that reception, that dance isn't outside tonight, is it?
No, it is not. It's indoors.
Because us Nebraskans don't really think ahead when the wedding is planned. They always think, I want an outside reception. I want an outside dance. It's like, this is Nebraska, man. You could have a blizzard or a tornado in June, okay?
You better plan in August then.
Yeah.
I played one outside wedding, and it was a beautiful day, so that was all right. Most of the time they're indoors because, again, people understand this is Nebraska, and it might be no clouds in the sky when you get up, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon it could be snowing. So who knows?
Yep. Man, it's nuts. It's crazy. So, all right, man. Well, I want to appreciate. Thank you for joining in. If you have delays joining in, or if you can't because you're busy, just give us a little message on the internal, and I'll make sure not to call on you and kind of have to worry about pulling you away from what you got to do. But no, man. Thank you. What's that?
If you call on me and I don't answer, that's because I've got busy, and if I get too busy, I'll just drop out. So, but yeah, thanks for the invite. I appreciate the chance to sound off as always.
And guys, make sure you check out Sandhill Shooter over on gunchannels.com. as well as on YouTube. He has got really cool podcasts that he's been doing from his vehicle, driving, and just talking about different topics. I've just been playing them in the background while I've been working on stuff around the house, and they're fun to listen to. So keep it up, man.
All right. Yeah, I've been driving a lot more than normal lately, and I thought, what the heck? We'll see if anybody wants to hang out. And some of these people don't have anything better to do than to listen to me go on and on. So keeps me company.
There you go. There you go. There's much bigger with us, right? All right, cool. Hey, Squib, what's going on, man? How are you doing today? Are you waking up? You got your coffee now?
I got my coffee now. Yeah. Well, let's see. You were saying that our legal advice, we're not lawyers. No, I am not a lawyer, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express a couple times.
There you go.
Yeah, we got the rain here too in Michigan. So there won't be very much outside stuff going on today. That's all right. That's what a reload bench is for.
Exactly. I know. I'm sitting there trying to figure out, well, what can I do indoors? Because I was going to do a bunch of stuff outside. today, but it's, like I said, it's pouring out. It's beautiful outside, but you can't really do much in it. Can't mow, can't do yard work. You just get soaked when you step out. So do some stuff around the house, I guess. So
you got some guns to clean or some videos to edit?
No, everything is absolutely spotless. That's the problem.
All right.
I've got a Glock to take to the range here pretty soon.
Can't you just find something to review? Just pick up a random item.
Might have to make a little. I was probably going to go see Deadpool 2 today, and I've got to get my final exams ready for next week for my kids. But otherwise, no, I've already got an AMD review ready to drop on Monday, and then I'll do a cleaning video on this clock this weekend. So
what about that tabletop review of the tabletop, Travis? You can get that done today.
I thought about it because that table's been more useful than anything else that I have in my entire gun collection because it's, that fake linoleum, that artificial marble look is so awesome in my kitchen. I'm telling you.
Wait, when you say AMD, are you talking about the rifle or the processor?
No, that's funny. Whenever you search for AMD 63, like a bunch of processors come up and then there's just an AK sitting there and then there's more processors. No, it's the rifle. It's the AK-47 pattern gun. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you're doing a processor, wouldn't it be on your other channel?
Yeah. No, I don't usually put many techies. Yeah, check out, guys. I have a second channel. It's just called Travis Patushka, P-A-T-O-C-K-A. If you're into tech stuff, I haven't posted much on it recently because I've been busy trying to get videos up on this channel. This summer, I'll do a few more vintage Mac reviews and stuff like that. So, yeah, the B channel, tech videos are fun to do and stuff, but this is my primary hobby. So, yeah. Now, Squib, what about you? What are you doing for videos, for podcasts? You got anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I do lock and loads Monday nights. However, we're not doing any until June. Hawaii Volcano Squad is on the mainland. He is in Prescott, Arizona. He's already gone to J&G Sales, and he's going to visit the Ruger factory there. So, and then on Wednesdays, I jump in on Rick's Life as I see it. And then Fridays is a busy day. I jump in on Budget Guns and Gear Review, Gelsma Outdoors, and Budget Guns and Gear Review does every other Friday. So it was last night. Heavy B does every other Friday as well. That would have been last night too. I don't know if he did a show or not. And then after that, I'm on with Edge, and then I'm up late. So had some family come in from out of town, so I wasn't on anything last night, but I'll go back and catch up with the shows. So I just realized you said episode 44. No wonder Tony is here.
Well, we are going to talk about some 44 mag related. If you saw the titles, we got that cowboy shooting we're going to talk about. So hey, it's I don't know if that's a caliber you can use for SAS shooting.
4440. 4440.
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's use 44 Magnum or 44 Special, and I'm pretty sure that's largely on account of the Ruger Blackhawk.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, we are going to discuss a little bit of cowboy action shooting today. That was another request, and in fact, it was more specifically horseback cowboy action shooting, which there is a branch of that off of SAS that you can do, and just to kind of talk about it, what you do at these get-togethers at SAS holds, which we'll talk about SAS in a little while. But no, Squib, appreciate you joining in, man. You've been with us pretty much since episode 1, so thanks for joining us. And
thanks for the invite.
No problem, man. We've surpassed a year. We're going to keep things rolling. We're having a good time. Moving on here, we've got let's see, Texas Merce is with us. Texas, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the invite.
All right, so you got those exams and all that stuff out of the way. You finally got some free time now.
I got some free time. I got to stay for the board. I got to stay for the board exam on the 31st. Okay. So that's the one exam I got left. But yeah, all the other tests are done. All the other classes are done. I got the degree, so now I just got to get the license.
Cool. Well, man, you made it this far. You're going to be fine. You just got to stay busy. So, how's the weather down in your neck of the woods? Is it nice down there?
Oh, it's nice. It's nice. I mean, it's humid, but I mean, it's 70 right now, but it'll get by the afternoon probably 90, 95.
Oh my God. And we got up to 85. That's the hottest it's been here in months. And I was just like, oh man, it's getting the arm out.
Well, I'm looking forward to the end of June because I accepted a job over in West Virginia for a cardiologist over there.
Sweet. Very cool. We'll have to kind of look up with the gun channels crowd over there. I think you'll like that.
I'll be moving over there end of June, starting at the beginning of July. So
it's an absolutely beautiful part of the country, man. It's awesome over there.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I know you're busy, man, but I want to thank you for joining, and we'll have a discussion today. And like I said, whatever we're going to talk about, if you guys know something about it or don't, as a panel, you're here to just participate and share, or just take it all in and share with others. So awesome.
Sure thing.
Okay. All right, man. Cool. Tony, what is new in your world? It's been a couple weeks that we've been without you, but we got you back on here this Saturday. What's new in your world, man? What's going down?
That big yellow thing shining in the sky is what's been new in my world.
Nice. You getting outside a little more now, or what?
Yeah, I've been going to the range every chance I get. Taking the grandkids or the wife or all of them.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Now, this range that you go to, do you have a bit of a drive to get there? Is it just in town? Is it on the other side of town, or how far do you have to go? Away. Oh, nice. It's good to have. It's very good to have. Are you doing any shows at all on gunchannels.com?
Doing the early watch.
Okay.
Jimmy's not been on for a while because of work situation, and G-Webs has stepped in to kind of keep things afloat. We're doing what we do.
No, it's been fun to listen to. I listened to it yesterday. Was yesterday? When was the last time you guys? Okay, you were on yesterday. Now, was that your first episode back together? Have you guys been doing? Because I hadn't been getting the notifications, and YouTube's been screwing around with a lot of people. But have you guys been live like the last couple of weeks every morning?
Most mornings.
Okay.
Now and again.
Okay. Yeah, because for some reason I just don't. It's not showing up on my list, and I have to go to the channel to see that you guys are live. Which really, I mean, it's doing it on my phone, it's doing it on my computer, so I have to actually go to the channel. I'm subscribed, but and it's not a gun thing. YouTube has changed how your notifications show up on your phone. Or if you don't interact with the channel and the content creator, if you don't thumbs up, you don't leave comments, you're actually less likely to get that notification come to your phone. That's not a lie. YouTube's programmers are on record as saying that this is something they're doing to increase interaction between the content creator and the viewer. So a lot of people have said, hey, are you still making videos? I'm like, yeah, man, I still, every 3 days I'm dropping a video. And so I don't, if you guys aren't doing, Daily Gun Show, make sure you check it out and then also really watch. If you're not getting notifications, it's happening. You just got to go find it. So, but Tony,
it's a little iffy on when.
Okay. I just usually check around 9 o'clock. If I don't catch it live, I'll watch it after you guys finish up, and it's always there for you if you want to watch it.
Because other people hosted, I'm at the mercy of them as the start time.
I gotcha. Cool. There's a lot of controversy in the chats right now because of the shaving. We'll get to that. But Tony, I want to thank you for joining us. It'll be awesome to have your feedback and your input, especially when we get to the cowboy action shooting, when we start talking about the equipment, the revolvers, and fun stuff like that. Your expertise, your knowledge is definitely going to come in handy. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I don't participate in SAS. But just the guns themselves, it'd be kind of fun to talk about what you're going to need to get into it if you really, because some people might take an interest in it and not even realize that it exists after this podcast. So, real quick, just to address the shaving issue. No, I did not eat my beard. That was
we know you did it. You did it to distract everybody from the royal wedding. So
yes, I did this so that you look at me and not the royal wedding, because I look much more beautiful than that prince getting married. But I know my mom and my grandma had asked me to shave for family pics for Mother's Day, and Mom said, "Hey, you can just take that off, and we want you to look young and look like you used to look before you grew the beard and stuff." And then Grandma backed her up and said, "Yeah, you should probably shave." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" So they doubled down on me. I had no choice. I can bring it back in 4 weeks if I need to. It's been 7 months, and honestly, when I'm outside in hot, humid weather, it's just not comfortable. I just, I don't know. We'll get it back. I'll get my man card back here eventually. So anyway, let's take a look and see who's joining us. We have a ton of people already joining us in the chat today. By the way, you're probably going to see Ammo Cat come past the camera a couple times. She's with us this morning. So we've got Philo is with us. David Bowling is with us. Outlaw Hatfield is with us. Mad Sexy 45, ACP. Tacos and French fries. I'm now hungry is with us. Trigger Tickler and let's see. We said Philo SS Pawn is with us today. Vandal's joining us from the land down under. Good morning, sir, or good afternoon, or good evening. Who else we got joining us? Moo Butts out there right now, which is always cool. Frank Hellman is with us. Good morning, Frank. Good to see you guys. I'll try to catch up on the topics here if I can with what you guys were mentioning. There's so much stuff going on right now. Deadpool 2 is good. People are saying it looks like something we should check out. Definitely want to do that. The panel that's there is here. So let's go over to the DTEP 62 is here also. Let's go over to the gun channel side and see who's joining us. Let's see. We'll go to Caliber Corner. We had a couple people already there. I know yesterday's Pomade is with us, and so is Paper Plane Crash. We've got Ozzy Osbourne joining us. Squib is there, and Squib is here. Don't touch my power button. My cat likes to jump on top of the tower. You got a vertical power button, so hopefully it doesn't shut off. So we already have a question before we get into our 3 topics, which are going to be concealed carry, legal protection, private sales of firearms. I called it selling private inventory because I didn't want to put private gun sales in the YouTube title for the video, and then also cowboy action shooting. Yesterday's Pomade is asking a question over on gunchannels.com. Pomade has an opportunity to buy a Surefire X300 for $179. That's a rail-mounted tactical light. So it seems like a good deal. Maybe your panel can help me decide. So if you get that light in black, it's $220 on Amazon right now for a brand new one. If you get the tan one, it's actually $179 brand new. And I'm looking at it on Amazon. You're looking at 500 lumens. Obviously, you've got the Surefire brand name, which is pretty good. 600 lumens is what it puts out. Now, I don't have experience with that light, but I do have a TLR1, which I paid $122 for, which puts out 800 lumens. Now, the problem with the TLR1 is that thing inside the house is almost too much. It is basically blinding when you turn it on and you got white lights. Sorry, ammo cat's walking over the power button. But anyway, the problem I have with the TLR1 is the glare off white painted walls. It's almost too much. And if it's totally pitch black and you fire that thing up, you could blind yourself in the process of trying to see what you're pointing your firearm at. So obviously, a hand-mounted flashlight is always my recommendation for any kind of home defense lighting situation. But if you're going to get a rail-mounted light, I mean, you're going to be paying $180 for less lumens, but I guess it depends on your application. If you're thinking about home defense primarily, 600 lumens should be more than adequate for inside the house. Like I said, the TLR1 HL is 800 lumens. You know, I would say get it brand new from Amazon for $180. We weren't sure if you were being offered that price new or used, and if it was the black one or if it was the tan one. So just to let you know, guys, any thoughts on that? We don't necessarily have to run through the panel, but what do you guys think? Do you guys have any experience with Surefire flashlights at all?
I don't stick with gun lights at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay. You guys just do handheld flashlights with your pistol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say you're going to be okay if you get it. I'm sure it comes with a really good warranty. If you have any problems with it, I'd say buy it. Just buy an FDE or tan or whatever that is for $180, and you should be good to go. Otherwise, you know, TLR1 is a good option too, but you're going to pay more for it. So, or you're going to pay less for it, but you're going to get more lumens. So, something to take into consideration. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get into the discussion now. We're talking about this concealed carry legal protection, and I don't want to call it insurance because there's ideas associated with insurance. This idea that if it's an accident, you've got some coverage to help you out. Well, the thing is, when it comes to shooting another individual to defend yourself, that isn't exactly an accidental discharge, nor is that an accident that's going to be considered intentional. Before you even consider looking at the concealed carry legal protection or insurance, if you want to call it that, there's a lot of things you got to look into. And if you've got any kind of homeowner's policy, if you have any kind of renter's insurance, or if you can get a rider for self-defense coverage through your current company, you might want to look into that because you may be able to get into it for less money than you're spending now, or just simply be able to go through the company that you're going through right now. So, I mean, before you decide to go sign up for something and start paying $45 or $50 a month, you might already have some kind of coverage. Now, every company is different, and a lot of us don't read the fine print on our coverage to know what we really have coverage for. We just think to ourselves, oh, homeowner's insurance, it's going to cover my home, and you just get it only to find out it doesn't cover things like black mold or it doesn't cover things like floods. You know, we all understand that there's the FEMA flood insurance. So it is a good idea to know the specifics about your insurance before you decide to get it. Now, with that being said, when you go online and look up the concealed carry legal protection, you're going to be hit with a slew of different options. And I've got the top 4 that pop up on a Google search, and I just wanted to go through the basics of them. And you're going to see they have a lot more in common than you realize. But then there's little specific things about each one that you might not know. Now, the thing is, you also need to go through and read the fine details. Call them and ask them specific questions before you decide to sign up, because you want to make sure that it's going to cover you. You want to go with the best coverage you can possibly go with for your budget. All right, now, do any of you guys in the panel at all have any kind of extra or supplemental concealed carry protection? I don't, because I didn't know which company to go through. But after watching Ghost Tactical's video, I got a pretty good idea as to who I want to go through. What do you guys think?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I have a USCCA, the platinum
Okay.
coverage.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't have it offhand what all they cover, but it's from what I researched and everything, they seem to cover more than a lot of the other ones. But yeah, this would be a good talk to do.
Okay.
I have this same thing, the USCCA is platinum. Same reason he stated, the coverage seemed good. It's not specifically coverage. Basically, what these things amount to is like a health maintenance pool. You know, it works the same way. You're paying money into a fund, and they use that should you ever need lawyers, bails, crap like that. It is definitely not insurance.
Right. And the reason why I like USCCA is that they don't just cover you for the legal aspect. It's also the civil aspect too. They give you a bunch of money for that too, because that's what's gonna get you cost the most. Because I mean, the family's gonna sue you. You may be cleared legally, but then the family's gonna sue you for civil damages and everything, and that's where they're gonna bite you right there, is with all that civil litigation right there. So they cover you for that.
Now, something everybody needs to take into consideration before you even get this is what I'm seeing off all these companies that I've been doing the research on. You lose in court, you don't get that coverage. You don't get what they're promising you. Some of them promise a little bit of money up front. Some of them promise 100% coverage if you're not convicted as guilty. Some of them offer you the coverage. I mean, the thing is, you're going to be, I mean, you're taking a chance. If you take another human life anyway in self-defense, you're taking a chance that the ruling is not going to come out in your favor. It's going to depend on the DA. It's going to depend on the state, the local climate, a jury. All right. So understand that when you get this, there's no guarantee that they're going to pay whether you win or you lose. Now, there is a comment over on the YouTube side already, a person saying, I would rather just, if I need a legal protection, I'd rather pick my own attorney locally. Okay, but do you have the money for a retainer fee? Do you have the $150 an hour it's going to cost you in paperwork? You do great. You got $20,000, $30,000 set aside. Hey, more power to you. But then there's the civil side. Yeah.
With the USCCA, they have local attorneys, like in Texas. Right. They'll tell you, okay, these are the representatives that you need to call. They'll give you a variety of different people, but these are the people that have defended these kind of patients, these kind of people in the past, and they specialize in concealed carry law.
Second Call Defense does the same thing. They use local attorneys, and they don't fly people in from out of state who don't know what's going on or don't know the area, the climate, the laws, that sort of thing. And these are people that they have a background in this sort of defense. So
yeah.
Right.
We're doing a quick screen share here. So I'm looking at USCCA. Can you guys all see that right now? Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Gold, Platinum, Elite. It should be on the screen. I'm doing a screen share, so hopefully
they must have changed it, because when I bought it, they didn't have the Elite one. They just had the Silver, Gold, and Platinum. But I guess they changed it.
Now, every policy we're going to show you here offers you civil protection and criminal protection, or civil. Well, yeah, we'll just call it protection. Again, we're not going to call it insurance. They all offer it, but there's different dollars amount that they offer. And then there's little perks that each one includes, like bail money, or the retainer fee, or upfront costs, or counseling, or compensation if you're out of work while you're on trial. So you got Gold, Platinum, Elite. Gold is $22 a year, Platinum's $30, and Elite is $47. And I'm not going to try to bore you guys with the details, but essentially you're buying more and more coverage of civil suit defense and criminal defense. That's essentially what you're getting, whether you go with Gold, Platinum, or Elite. They all now at USCCA, they offer the upfront bail bond funding, which you only need. Usually, it's 10% of the set amount to get yourself out of jail. So upfront bail bond funding is $5,050, $25,000, $250, $50,000, $500, and then there's also the civil protection too. So, and then they also give you the compensation while in civil court, which is nice. And then there's personal hardship coverage and psychological support. If you go with Platinum, it gets you into their Concealed Carry Expo. Texas, do you know where that is? Where do they hold that at? Is that a different location every time, or what?
The expo was in, was it in Kentucky this year?
Okay, I'm not sure
exactly. The Gear review just went. It was, I think it was in Kentucky this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
He did some videos from there. What was it? Was it 2 weeks ago? No, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks, something like that. So it was recent. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Nice thing is on all three of these, if you pay for the yearly amount up front, you do get a little bit of a discount, so you can't pay for it for the entire year. So for as little as $22 a month, you can get in. The best thing about it is you get that one phone call. You can make that one phone call, and then you don't have to say anything else until your attorney shows up, or they'll direct you from there, which I think is probably the most important thing, because you're going to be stressed out enough about what you need to do now if you are, in fact, taken in, because chances are if there's a self-defense shooting and or a death, you're going to be taken in for questioning, and the whole process is going to start from there. So, yeah, USCCA, I think that was the one that Ghost Tactical said that he goes along with. And, again, I'm not pushing any one preference. This is just the first one that pops up on a Google search. This is what people are going to see when they're looking at it, okay? Now, we'll shift and go. Now, again, they all offer civil and criminal liability protection at a minimum. That is what you need, and you need to make sure it's going to cover you outside of the home, okay? The next one that we have is CCW Safe, which is $500 per year for their ultimate plan. Now, they just throw it out there. They don't give you very specific numbers. We've got up to $1 million in bail bonds, up to $1 million in civil damages, no cap on criminal or civil defense, family covered in the home, and more. So we click on Learn More. So that's $500 a year, and I don't believe that they do any kind of a monthly thing. You just simply buy it, and you're done with it. It sounds like a lot of money, but if you look at how much an attorney bills you per hour, really $500 is not bad. You got the 24-hour hotline, attorney fees, investigator fees, experts. They're very vague about what they give you, but I think they just want to sell you on the plan, and then they're going to take care of you, right? Appeals and firearm replacement during trial, $300, $350 a day work loss while in criminal or civil trial, which is important because your trial could go for weeks, and you have to be there and not at your job, and there's a chance your job's not going to cover you if you have to go to court. 40 sessions with a licensed counselor if you need any kind of psychological counseling, and $3,000 for crime scene cleanup. Do they charge you for a crime scene cleanup if you commit a crime on your property?
I would think your homeowners or your renter's insurance would pay for that, so they might go after them to reimburse.
Okay. And now this one says that it does automatically renew at $500 per year. Now, restrictions, this is what's important to read because they don't really make this clear on a lot of the other websites. Force used against other family members, obviously. Well, I mean, that's okay. What if you've got a domestic abuse situation, a woman's defending herself against a man or whatever, that right there kind of scares me a little bit because what do they consider family? What if you have, a cousin come over or an uncle or aunt come over and there's something going on, right? Force used against people who are in your house with permission or invite. Any force that is not in self-defense. So if it's ruled that you are not acting in self-defense, it's all on you and whatever insurance you have or whatever you're going to have to pay. And then restrictions limited in terms of service. At least they tell you exactly what's not going to be covered. And to me, that's a lot of common sense. But I think it's a good thing they at least tell you so that you have a heads up that you're not Superman with this coverage, okay? I mean, you are going to be held liable whether you like it or not. And if it's not ruled in your favor, well, I mean, that's what you're going to be looking at. Guys, any thoughts on CCW Safe at all? Like I said, they all start to sound the same after a while, but
the restrictions are kind of vague. That's my biggest problem with it.
Yeah.
I think the longer these companies are out there and the more people start joining and putting into them, the more you're going to see some competition between them, and you're going to see the coverage improve and improve and improve because they're going to be able to fund it. More and more people start jumping on board with this stuff. It'll be just like car insurance or health insurance.
Yeah, I mean, and that free market is going to be the thing that's going to, because they're going to want to go after the numbers. They're going to want to go after who they can. Now, don't boo me on this one, guys. The next one, I have to bring it up because, for one thing, like it or not, we have NRA members that watch this channel. We have friends that are NRA members, right? They do have Carry Guard. Now, I was not happy about the fact that Carry Guard booted out or NRA booted out the competition from the NRA get-together that they have, their little yearly powwow. They booted them out of the vendor area. I don't know if it was USCCA or whoever. But
it was after they had went up to USCCA's corporate headquarters and ripped off their fucking plan to make this.
Well, didn't Carry Guard, wasn't it just another existing coverage that got bought out by NRA and then they just changed the name? Or not?
This is a fucking clone of what Carry Guard
okay,
was.
So, and again, and I knew,
right? Wasn't it?
I don't remember who it was exactly.
The name of the company and they bought them or something.
Yeah. So we're going to look at the coverage anyway, just because, like it or not, this is something that people are going to consider, right? So whether we hate the NRA or love the NRA, this is just This is number 3 that pops up on a Google search. So they got where they're really getting people, I think, on this one is the $14 a month, because that is very inexpensive, and that's only going to give you $250,000 in coverage. Silver is $21.95 a month, and then gold is $49.95 a month. And you can also get it billed annually. Let's just get the details on the cheapest plan. Let's see what they actually offer you here.
And my understanding with the NRA thing was that it was cheap, and they stick it out there, everybody gets to see it, but it really wasn't very good coverage at all. Now, I don't know if that's changed since I looked into it, but it's like, no, this isn't.
You know, here's another thing to consider. Okay, they only offer you $250 of civil protection, but you need to look at your state law, because states can limit civil liability when it's a person-to-person lawsuit. I was thinking Nebraska had a cap on how much you can civilly sue another person for, like a non-debilitating injury or just a regular civil suit. I thought you were limited to so many hundreds of thousands of dollars. So $250 doesn't seem like a lot, but depending on your state, that might be all that you need. You know, it's not like you can necessarily get a $1 million lawsuit slapped on you. Then they got $50,000 in criminal defense. So it is a minimum amount of coverage, but it doesn't say, okay, full coverage for your spouse automatically. And then you got NRA Carry Guard membership. So they don't even say that they cover the retainer fees. They don't say that they cover, loss of income. Let's go to gold. Let's see what they got here into the details of gold. Does that give you anything more? Okay, so obviously you're going to get more. 1.5 million in civil protection, 250,000 in criminal defense, and same stuff. That's all you're doing is buying more coverage. You're not getting any more perks. So in all honesty, guys, I really can't recommend that, because all these other companies, they do offer you spouse coverage too. So, I mean, there are people that are going to want to get this because they're going to want to support the NRA, but and just in terms of actual coverage, what you're getting, there's better you can get out there for less money. I mean, even USACCW covers this better for just like about the same price, essentially, a couple bucks more per month, and that's it. A couple bucks less per month. So, I mean, yeah.
If you want to cover your spouse, it's half off at USCCA. So you get your coverage, and then it's half off for your spouse.
Okay. Yeah, and that's another thing too. You want to look up, because some of them, there's a couple of them that offer you under 18 full coverage for anybody in your home that's 18 years or younger. Now, this one popped up. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this one. Citizen Defend. Choose your plan. This is number 4 or 5 that came up in the Google search. They got 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star coverage. You've got $250,000 in civil suit, $100,000 in criminal defense reimbursement, and then it goes up from there. Then you got to get a quote. So I don't know if I have to fill out information. They do have accidental discharge protection, obviously protection at home while you're away, public and private hunting grounds, shooting ranges, gun clubs, coverage for your spouse, self-defense only at no extra cost, no membership requirement or fees, $5,000 in criminal cost advance limit for attorney retainer. And again, that's a big one, because I would imagine a lot of people don't have $5,000 just sitting around, or even $1,000 sitting around in savings. Now, some of you may or some of you may not. And it says including $250 for bail bond for self-defense, $2,500 revocation expense limit, and $250 per day for loss of earnings while in court. So that's not bad. That's an okay amount of coverage, but let me just click on request a quote, and we'll just see what happens here. Yeah, you got to put all your information in here. They're not going to give you a flat rate. It could be based on your state. It could be based on your situation. I don't know if they've run some kind of actuary information on you to come up with what you're going to get quoted at, but that's another one that pops up there. So after hearing this information, again, I encourage you guys to go over and watch Ghost Tactical's video, because he covers a lot of that stuff in a lot more detail. He covers a couple more companies too. So this is just going to show you the minimum. You want to make sure you've got civil coverage, make sure you got criminal coverage. Retainer fee is very nice to have. And then if there's any kind of compensation for loss of firearm, that would be nice too. Because that one time you take your $900 H&K or your SIG with you for that road trip, just because it's the one time you got to use it, and that's the one time that's going to get taken away from you instead of your $300 M&P, right? So any thoughts, guys, at all on this concealed carry legal protection? What do you think?
I've looked into it in the past. I watch We Like Shooting, and for a while, they really they kiss their sponsors' butts big time. But they kept talking about second call defense. And it's like, okay, great. This is just another sponsor that's got an overpriced thing that you're pushing because they pay you a lot of money. And then one day on an episode, oh, sorry, I moved my mic there.
Okay, that's fine. I was just boosting a little bit on the volume.
Yeah, thanks. You probably roll it back down. One day on an episode, they actually went into detail and explained it in details, like finally. And when they went through it, I mean, I think they spent over half an hour on it. I said, "This is what I want. This is definitely what I want." I mean, they've got the either individual or married couple coverage. They've got the they'll have their lawyers try to get your gun back, and if they can't, they'll do a replacement. They'll get you the same gun. The way you're talking about the loss of wages, that's an important thing. And I don't know what their max is on the loss of wages, but if you want to get an idea how long you're out of work, if you use your firearm legally to defend yourself or somebody else legally, go on to Amazon. There's a book called The Santa Shooter. There's a guy here in Detroit who was moonlighting as a Santa Claus. So it's Christmas time. It's, snow out and everything else. And he's coming home from doing a gig. He's still in the Santa Claus suit, and he's driving down the road, and these two guys are attacking this woman, and he gets out to protect her. He doesn't draw his gun. He's got a concealed carry permit. He's legally armed. He's not no criminal record, nothing like that, right? And one of the guys goes back to the car, gets a gun, and starts shooting. He returns fire, and there's an off-duty cop down the street who comes flying up. The two guys take off, disappear. The off-duty cop throws him to the ground and arrests him. And he was in jail for a year and a half fighting this. Even though the two guys disappeared, they could never find him. You go, okay, fine. This woman's saying he was protecting me. They look at him. He's got no criminal record. His gun is registered. He's got a concealed pistol license. What's the big? This is open and shut. Nope. It didn't work out like that. And he was fighting it for like a year and a half. That's a year and a half of no wages. Yeah. So if you look up this book, this $20 book, The Santa Shooter, that'll give you an idea of what could happen in a bad scenario where you try to do the right thing and you are not breaking the law, and the prosecution just doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah, and that is the chance that we all take, as concealed carriers. That is the risk that we're all taking, and you're just hoping those odds play out in your favor. Texas, what's up, man?
I was just saying that was also Detroit too, so you got to take that into consideration too.
It's the Detroit thing it's really more of a county thing. I was listening to Matt's show a few weeks ago or something, and the whole thing about this woman that had somebody ram her car with her kid in it, and she drew her firearm to get the guy to stop doing it, and then now she's in jail. I don't know the details of that, but I'd be willing to bet that it was probably in one of the less friendly counties or something like that, or it was the way she handled herself when the police got there. They do tell you in concealed pistol license training in this state, you call. Even if you just pull up your shirt, you show your firearm, the guy runs away, you immediately call, because you're screwed if you don't. It's not necessarily a state law. It's how some of these liberal judges look at it and that sort of thing. You may have the police in one county that are all for the citizens concealed carrying, and then you've got the next door county where they don't want people having it at all. It's not really a Detroit thing or it's a Michigan thing really so much as it's a county thing here, because this is a very gun-friendly state. But
what I heard about that lady was that he called first and said that she was threatening him. Right. That's what he said. Now, how he defined the fact that you look at the car damage, obviously he was ramming her car, but he said, "Oh, she threatened me. I was trying to get away." And then again, it's the order of the phone call. And then she said, "No, I was protecting my kids." And they're saying, "No, he called first." It's like,
it's just like this guy that he jumps out of the car in his Santa suit. He doesn't draw his gun. He gets between the woman and the two men. One of them runs back to the car, gets a gun, starts shooting, and then he returns fire. And this off-duty cop is down the street, driving down the street, sees what he thinks he sees, and it's situation. In both situations, the good person was doing the good thing or was trying to protect somebody else, and things went. And that's why it's a good idea to have this sort of insurance, because this guy, he didn't have any insurance to protect him, to pay his legal fees, to the So you never know exactly how it's going to go. You may show up and the sheriff be like, "Good thing you had that gun, huh?" And you're like, "Oh wow, cool." They understand. And then another place you do it, and it's like, there was the guy who was the truck driver, who had a student driver with him, and he was in Nebraska. They were at a truck stop and they couldn't get the truck moved because somebody parked in front of him. He said, "Hey, could you move the truck?" And the guy came at him and started threatening him. And they're both up in the cab, and he's got a student driver there with him. And he goes, "Look, dude, you don't want to do this. I've got a gun in here." And the guy went back to his truck. He moved his truck. And then he called the cops and said this guy pulled a gun out and threatened him. The guy never pulled a gun or anything. Like, he just said, "I have a gun in here." That's all he said. They're driving down the road. Next thing you know, they get lit up and they get hauled away to jail in some little podunk place out there where you're at, Travis. And
brandishing, right? Brandishing firearm. Even said, "Look, man."
The guy who called it in disappeared, just like the Santa shooter thing. The guy, they could never find him. They didn't care. They held him all weekend because the courts are closed on a weekend. He needed his insulin. They didn't give him his insulin, so he's getting sick in jail over the weekend. And they never did find this guy. They never did find the guy who called it in. You would think it's open and shut, right? Nope, it's not. And it's bullcrap. We all know it's bullcrap. And that's why this insurance is important, because hopefully we never ever have to use this thing. But none of these people thought they were ever going to, use their gun. So
yeah, there's a question here. Typical Jake has one over on the YouTube side, and then I'll check the gun channel side. Guys, I've been doing the screen share, so I've been looking at the chat. Typical Jake says, one question: does having a large insurance policy make you a bigger target for a lawsuit? My wife is a nurse, and this was a concern when considering personal liability insurance. I'm going to say yes, and here's why I think so. If you ever look at anything that ever happens between a teacher and a student that shows up in the news, 9 times out of 10, and I've actually heard this from our own district attorney that prosecutes and defends the school district, the parents and the families go after the district. They don't go after the teacher, because the teacher only has so much in insurance liability they can pay out. They'll go after the district, who will want to pay out quick to end the problem and has more coverage. So yeah, having that big policy could be, a reason why they're going to go after you civilly. And that prosecuting attorney or that civil attorney that's representing the family that's going to be fighting against you because of something you did to their criminal son or daughter, is going to know. They're going to say, "Oh yeah, he's got coverage. We're going to go after him to the max," or "He's got this coverage, that coverage." So I would say,
how would they know what coverage you had?
Well, for teachers, it's obvious. All they got to look up and see if I'm an association member. That's public record. I don't know. Privately, I'm not sure. I don't know if the attorneys would have a way of figuring that out. They could call the insurance company, because you would think of HIPAA and privacy laws and this and that they would not be able to know.
Right.
So I don't know, unless you boast about it to somebody. Well, I've got coverage if something happens. Yeah,
just don't tell anybody.
On the program on the internet and say that you use this outfit.
I don't know. But anyway, so just to address this one, everybody keeps saying that I'm actually Crackle P11. I'm Ben. No, I'm not Ben. Ben is my son. Crackle P11 is my boy. He's not home from prom yet. So in case you guys don't know, Crackle P11 had prom last night out there in Connecticut or wherever he lives. So yeah, no, I'm not Ben. This is actually Travis P11 without the beard. See if we have any other questions that pop up here in the chat. All right, let's go check out the gun channel side real quick. So the idea here is, it's not, for the price of a Netflix subscription, all right, you can basically have some civil and some criminal protection with the number you can call, or they will take care of you. All right. Hopefully they do. You don't hear a lot of people out there that have used this protection and have gone public about it and said, "This is what they've done for me," except for the 3 or 4 YouTube ads that play at the beginning of our videos. We've all seen those a couple million times, where you have to click to find out what happened to this person or that person. So I would just say just budget for it, and it's just like renter's insurance. You hear about people that complain about losing everything in the apartment fire. They're all sad, and they need donations because they lost all their clothes and their kids have nothing. Renter's insurance is $11 a month for like $25,000 in coverage. I've had it with 3 different companies in 3 different living situations growing up. Just get it, budget for it, and be a responsible adult and get it. I don't care who you go with one of the companies. It's stupid not to. Come on, you're a grown-up, you're an adult. If something happens to you, can you afford to basically, I'm not trying to do fear-mongering, but can you afford to pay a civil liability lawsuit? Do you want your wages to be garnished for the rest of your life because you had to defend yourself? Whether it was right or wrong isn't going to matter when it comes time to fit the bill. So for just a couple bucks, do something. We don't care who you go through somebody, right? And so hopefully maybe here, go ahead, Tony.
I want to say a couple of things here. First off, check your state laws.
Yeah.
Because Illinois put in protections against you being sued if it's a justified self-defense.
Okay.
Secondly, if you go with USCCA, and I'm sure the NRA, being the NRA, be prepared to get spammed like a bitch. USCCA is worse than the NRA as far as I'm sending you crap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can always unsubscribe to that stuff too if you want to. Or are you talking about stuff that's going to show up in the mail after you sign up with it, or what?
I get email from them guys every damn day.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they're gonna be annoying, but I mean the coverage is really good. I find them very annoying. I just put them I just click and put it in spam and or delete and everything.
This gun could be yours. Your new gun is waiting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Publishers Clearinghouse, but for firearms, you know.
Exactly.
Paper Plane Crash makes a good point on the gun channel side. Anything attached to NRA, gotta wonder if you pay them and they do anything at all for you with the money. You can't help but wonder if they think you're going to lose, if they opt out of covering you, if they have that kind of, or if any of these companies have that kind of disclaimer or that sort of attachment in what you sign off on, or if they don't think you're going to get it, or if they're pretty sure what you did was intentional, if they can decline to offer you coverage. And again, we've never heard anything public. We don't know anything about it. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard anybody or found anything online where somebody said, well, they didn't cover me and this is what happened, you know? So, I mean, I'm sure that obviously if you're convicted of first-degree murder and it was not, you don't even do a self-defense plea, that you're screwed. Okay, let's just say that right now. I mean, it's just like my own teacher association insurance. If I do something blatantly wrong, I'm probably not going to get that association liability coverage that I signed up for, that I pay for. I'm going to have to get my own attorney. So I don't know. I mean, we don't know. We don't know how they pay. Or I wish there was a place where we could go to actually get witnesses that have used this protection to say, yeah, this is what happened to me. This is what they did. So, you know, I'm just saying that it would be better to chance it to have it than not. And then just use your heads when you're carrying. You know, just you gotta take the higher ground. You got to be the more responsible person. You need to keep a cool head when you're carrying. Just because you've got the gun, again, does not mean you're Superman. You might think that you're indestructible, but if you get arrested and you got to pay a civil liability lawsuit, you're not going to have much on the back end waiting for you. So Paper Plane Crash just have a question for us. Graduation party in the Michigan rain today. So Squibby, maybe you can help us out with this one. Which barbecue gun to wear today? CZ, 1911, or SIG? Oh, the choice is tough call. Any ideas?
They're your guns, man. Whichever one you want to clean.
Yeah, I'd say which one's easiest to take apart and clean. I guess if the CZ is it a polymer or steel, or is it all steel? We talking like a 75 or
you need to know what models of
yes.
I mean 1911 we know, but I mean the CZ and the SIG we need to know. Are we talking about like a Mosquito? Are we talking about a P320 or a P226? You know, I mean, we got to know a little bit more info before we can say which one's gonna.
I mean, obviously, it looks like we're going a little more full size just because we're. Whoa, what was that? We're going to be going a little more full size because you're able to conceal it. You might have a coat or a sweatshirt going on. So yeah, you can go full. I would say go for the SIG because it's probably going to be the easiest one to disassemble and clean. Just in case it happens to get wet somehow, maybe jump out of the car and your coat comes up and you get some water on it or something. I say go for the SIG. They carry well. I don't know. 1911s aren't exactly difficult to carry either. They're fairly slim profile or width or thickness. So. I don't know. I would say go for the SIG. All right. Let's see if we have anything else here. Nothing else on the gun channel side. Let's see the YouTube side. Any other questions popping up here? Take basic firearm safety courses and so on. If you get carry insurance, it'll help prove sound mind and competencies. Stealth Hunter, this is true. I've taken two tactical pistol courses right now on top of just some day at the range trainings that they've offered at my range. And it does make you think, and you do shoot better for one thing, and you're definitely gonna be a lot more responsible if you've got more of a carrying mentality. Do you think YouTube will tighten rules on gun channels due to recent school shootings? They're gonna tighten rules anyway. Like I said, I'm expecting myself to not even have a YouTube channel in 5 years, the way things are going right now, which is fine because I've got a B channel that I can do other videos on. But I don't know. I mean, it's about the school shooting thing. Until we know the details on how the kid got his dad's guns, did he get into the safe? Did he have the keys? Did dad always raise him to be a responsible gun owner, and he got bullied and decided just to go ahead and take matters into his own hands? I don't know. I mean, it's hard telling. Obviously, we know that the liberal left is coming out saying that we need tighter restrictions on gun laws, even though Matt made a really good point in a video that he did yesterday. NEA. He said that no matter what gun rules or gun laws would have been out there, with all the gun rules and gun laws in place, none of them would have restricted the kid from doing what he did, using the guns that he used. Those guns were not restricted revolvers and shotguns. I mean, it doesn't. No black rifle ban would have stopped that kid from grabbing those guns and taking those guns out. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway, because a bad guy's going to get a gun whether you like it or not, whether you have rules for it or not. So, you know, again, I don't really want to get into the school discussion. I think that's, you know, we're beating a dead horse here. So, yeah, Jorge's joining us. No beard on Travis P11. Yes, I took it off. I took it off for Mother's Day. Wanted to look good for family photos and so on. So, I'll be nice to him. What's that?
He went wimps. What he's saying.
I just, I don't know. It's fine. I like it in the wintertime. He's in face form in the wintertime, but what's that?
That ain't a man cave now. It's a mom cave.
Oh man, come on.
Hey, Tony, don't forget the same thing happened to Samson. So
it didn't end well for him.
Nope.
Jeez. All right, I'll think about it. I'll think about getting it back. I'll think about it. I don't know. It's uncomfortable in the summertime.
I don't.
Now wait till deer season. Throw it back for deer season.
The main reason why I did it is in the fall, because it's cold when I walk my dogs in the mornings, man. With my dog in the morning, it's 0 degrees out. I get chilly. I'm not going to put a scarf on. I'm not some kind of hipster. All right. I wanted to grow out a beard and have some patience. That sucker came in handy this winter. I'll tell you what, man. We had some serious Call of the Wild going on out there, and it was nice to have some facial protection. So anyway,
use a scarf as a short rope or something. I mean, what are you gonna do with the beard? Store lunch?
What? Who? What? Huh? No, I had the beard so I wouldn't have to grab a scarf. That was the main thing. So I don't even own a scarf. I don't even know why we're talking about this.
I don't own a scarf either, but I do have bandanas.
There you go. There you go.
Get to the reason I have them.
Well, you're wearing one in this picture right here in your avatar, behind those revolvers. That you're wearing a bandana right there.
That ain't me.
Well, yeah, it is. You said that was a self-portrait.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm messing with you.
Blankets, what that is.
Okay. Let's go on to our next topic. The next topic is selling inventory. Obviously, I did not want to put private gun sales in my YouTube video, even though it's probably going to flip a flag anyway, but I could care less. Okay, so let's just say this right now. When it comes to selling your gun privately, private sale, person-to-person sale, you need to understand your state laws. You need to understand, you know, what is it allowed in your county? Is it allowed in the city you live in? Is it allowed? Does it require to go through an FFL and require a background check? You have to know specifically what you're going to do. I mean, long gun versus pistol. Is there certain requirements for each one? In Nebraska, whenever I've done a private sale, and I'll show you where I go to network with other people to do a private sale, I've always requested a concealed carry concealed carry license and or a pistol purchase permit. Now, for the pistol sales, I've always required a CCW, whether you like it or not. I don't care. That's how I've always been about it. That way I know that there's not going to be any liability on me, and I'll share a story with you in a little bit on something that happened to me and kind of had me kind of peeing my pants. So, yeah, you want to make sure you understand the state laws. Now, let's run it through the panel. Have you guys ever done a private gun sale legally? Have you ever done a legal private gun sale? Sandhills, you ever done a private gun sale before?
Not on a handgun, I haven't. I mean, I've done a couple on rifles.
Okay.
In fact, my anniversary present was a private sale.
There we go. There we go.
I didn't do it, but I mean, that was a private sale from his private collection. He just brought it to her, and she paid him, and away they went.
Okay. And again, it depends on the states. In Nebraska, I think the person you're selling to just has to be legal age and has to maybe have a driver's license, Nebraska driver's license. So you can verify who they are. You should, whenever there's a private sale, I'm just going to tell you right now, you should write their name down. It's important to. It's kind of funny about this. You don't have to legally, you can say, well, my state doesn't require me to keep a record of who I send a gun to privately. And that might be the rule. But what's funny about this is I remember a podcast I was watching with Ghost Tactical where he had a former ATF guy on there. And this guy claimed that if you can't produce the names on who you sold your guns to, they could bust you on straw purchase laws and stuff like that. I don't know if I believe that, but I have a record of the people that I've sold my firearms to privately. Actually, most of them have gone to just a few individuals because they buy multiples from me whenever I decide to sell. Now you can say, well, just don't sell your guns. You know, sometimes that's not an option. But according to what I know from Nebraska law, you're not required to keep the name of the person that you've done a private sale through. If you go to gun shows that have private sales, they don't necessarily run the background check. Okay, it depends on where you are, right? You buy a gun from somebody out in the parking lot legally, you sell a gun, you from what I understand in state law, you're not required to, you have to have legal identification, legal verification but you don't have to record the name. Now, if you sell to somebody that's a felon, that's on them. If they present something to you that appears to be a state driver's license and they're of age and they say, I've never been convicted of a crime, you can do that sale. If they do something with that gun, they can still come back to you and say, who'd you sell the gun to? Okay, did you know he was a felon? Well, no, we did a deal, and that was it. So, you know, that's something to take into consideration. Squib, have you ever done a private gun sale at all? Are you allowed to in the state that you live in without an FFL?
Yes. Well, here in Texas, we were allowed to, but I haven't done it yet. So, no,
okay.
Bueller.
Squib, what do you think? Anything on that at all? Or you said you have done a private gun sale?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay. Did they require you to keep any kind of record or check any kind of ID or anything along those lines?
So for long guns, you don't need anything.
Okay.
I mean, you could get in trouble if you know, you know what? I'll get back to you. This is just whatever. Just come back to me in a minute or something.
Okay. No, don't worry about it. It's all good. Okay. So Texas, you said you haven't, but in Texas, you don't have to have a record. The person doesn't have to have like a pistol purchase permit for you to do a private.
Oh, I have no idea. Then I haven't looked it up. But, I'll definitely look it up whenever I do a private sale. But yeah, I haven't done one yet. But yeah, you can do private sales here in Texas. I see it all the time.
All right. Okay. Tony, any experience at all with private sales?
Here in Illinois, you have to see that the person has a void card and call the state police and verify that the void card is authentic and not revoked.
Okay.
However, I can give a gun to a family member without any of that. A child family member.
Okay.
And we're supposed to keep records for 10 years of who we sell guns to.
Yeah.
But I don't sell guns.
Okay. Yeah, you know, the record, obviously, again, we're telling you, you got to follow state laws. If your states don't allow it, great. What had happened to me is I had sold a firearm back in 2001. I sold it to a person. I sold it to a friend who sold it to a friend who sold it to a friend. It got stolen and ended up being used in a crime. This was about 12 years had passed, and I actually had the police show up at my door and wanted to know if I was the original purchaser of the firearm, and I said yes. And they said, well, what'd you do with it? I said, oh, I sold it back in 01, 02, whatever, 2000, 2001. And they said, well, it was used in a crime, so you need to call the Lincoln Police Department and talk to the sergeant. And I called that night because I was freaking out, like, oh, my God, what is going on? And they said, you know, you really should have a record of who you sell to. And I said, state law doesn't require it. And they said, well, then it avoids situations like this. They had a good point. Okay, at the time, I just went off of just, no, state law doesn't require it. It's not my problem. You know, it's gone. I did a legal sale. It's done. I'm not liable for it. I just contacted the sergeant, actually just left a voicemail because it was 11:30 at night. I said, look, it was a private sale. I sold it in 2001. At the time, the person that presented the identification to me had the Nebraska license. They were legal age. You know, that's it. It was just a private gun sale, right? And I never heard back from them. So I'm assuming that everything is done. I mean, they never came back to me. It's been 17 years now, 16 years now since that happened.
How hard is it to write somebody's name in a little 79-cent notebook and toss his notebook in the drawer? Shit.
Well, and it's amazing how fast people are to do a private gun sale that don't ever get your name out. Once they see your ID, oh yeah, you got your CCW, no problem, cool. Here's the gun, great, shake hands, done. You know, it's a good point, Tony. We don't require it, but we should also have a little bit of personal responsibility as gun sellers to at least write that person's name down.
Right. You know, just so you don't end up in that friggin' situation that you were in.
Yeah. And you never think, well, I'm not responsible. That doesn't mean they can't show up at your door. And just think about all those different levels that police department went to find out about me. I mean, they would have gone back to the original FFL, who didn't even exist anymore. That store was closed. And then they had to go back to the prior manufacturer records and whatnot to trace it down to me and then find me. I'm 200 miles away. So,
but
you really,
If there was ever a 4473 or a permit or something like that, it's on record somewhere. And it's, they say, 20 years and they got to destroy it, or they only keep it for 24 hours. And then there's only the paper bull crap. It's all in a computer somewhere. Yeah. These guys can get to it. If it's ever been recorded that you possess something because of a state or federal law that says we've got to record it, it's recorded somewhere. They want to be able to look these things. Yeah, they want to be able to understand if they're trying to figure out if somebody did a straw purchase, if they're trying to, if they find something at a crime scene and they want to backtrack it to the owner. But if they catch the guy dead to rights with the gun in his hand and it's not registered to him, how is that your fault? You know what I mean? So, but once again, these are these stupid laws that have all these technicalities and a common sense. They don't apply common sense to any of this stuff. They don't apply common sense to ownership. They don't apply common sense to self-defense. You know, I kind of got into it last night with somebody about firearms, and her stance was, well, if they just registered all of them, we'd all be safer. And it's not because she hates gun owners or she has no idea. She thinks that if they just register them, oh, now I feel safe. We go right back to that. It's all about perception and feelings. It's not about, you realize having a list on a piece of paper doesn't stop them. Just because you're written down somewhere doesn't stop a bad guy from taking this thing and doing a bad thing. It doesn't. No, it doesn't. But you have so many people out there that don't understand the way we understand. And it's important that we try without going door to door and whatnot, but I mean, we try to just get people to understand. You realize that all this does is make a litter. It doesn't stop any crimes. Or all you realize is that all this does is cost somebody money and it's a hassle, and it actually encourage some people to do things illegally because you're making all these hurdles or whatever it is. But here in Michigan, if you want to get a handgun, you've got to have a purchase permit. For long guns, you don't need anything. I don't know what sort of stipulations they have in the law to prevent you from accidentally selling to somebody underage, because I am not aware that you have to show your ID or anything for a long gun. If owner to owner need the permit that you go get at the police department, or your CPL, your concealed pistol license will. So let's say you were hanging out with your buddy and he's got a gun he wants to unload because he needs money to fix his car or something like that, and you really want that gun. All you have to do is show him your CPL, and he can sell you that gun cash on site. And at that point, it's up to you to register it with your local police. In this state, you have to register hand. Why? Because we all know that most crimes are committed with, oh my goodness, handguns, not AK-47s. Anyhow, I don't like the law, but it's not that. It used to be a hassle here. It's not really that much of a hassle anymore. If you do not have a CPL, you have to go to your local law enforcement. They give you paperwork. You fill out paperwork, and it's got 3 copies, inherit into 3 copies. You fill out your part. The seller fills out their part. It's information on the gun, the make, the model, the barrel length, your information, the seller's information, that sort of thing, right? And it's more or less a piece of paper that you take to the seller that says the police have ran a background check on me and I am good to go. The concealed pistol license is your background check for that private sale. But if you don't have a concealed pistol license, I mean, they literally just do like a NICS check right there at the police department. And then they hand you the piece of paper and go, here you go get your gun. You go to your friend, like I said, you fill it out. He keeps a copy. You keep a copy. You take the 3rd copy and you drop it off with the police. At my local one, they've got a drop box right there in the foyer. You don't even have to walk into the lobby. They have that many pistol permits to process, because like, we're a gun-friendly state and lots of people here have guns. So you can literally go in there at midnight, drop your little card in the drop box, and walk out. You don't have to, it used to be back in the day, you used to have to be there during business hours, between 9 and 4, Monday through Friday, and you had to get the permit, and it was only good for so many days, and blah. They've really reduced the constraints on it and made it a lot easier. And for long guns, it's pretty much like, you want to buy this shotgun? Yeah, how much? I mean, it's...
There's some comments on the YouTube side, and I want to counter this one. There's some people saying, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to run that background check because that's going to get me registered, or that's going to be recorded, and I don't want that. Again, going back to Ghost Tactical's podcast with this ATF guy that he hosted again a couple weeks ago, this guy said, we can punch in the serial number for the firearm as long as it has a serial number. And he goes, we can find out who the original purchaser was regardless. I mean, maybe there's ways that you could, he goes, I don't know if they go all the way back to he goes, we can go back as far as we need to. We will find out who the original purchaser of that gun is. Any gun that we find, we can find out who bought it. So you can sit here and, well, you can do the private sale, but if the government has ways of finding out, so you say, well, we don't want a gun registry. Well, obviously there's some database somewhere, and there's some government agency that has these magical powers that they can find you. This guy said they do this. He also said that when people make multiple purchases on one background check, like again, you buy 5 different Sky CPX2s in 5 different colors. I don't know why you'd ever do that. God forbid you ever buy one of those things. But if you did, because you wanted 5 different colors, he said you could expect a drop by from an ATF agent, or you could expect a local law enforcement to stop by to help you account for those 5 guns. Because he goes, we want to make sure that you're not just buying multiples and selling them to the bad guys. I'm like, who the hell's going to do that? I mean, the fact these people could rat you out anyway and say, well, this guy sold me the gun and you're selling a gun to a known felon. You're setting yourself up to get arrested. I don't even understand why the concept of buying legally and selling illegally would even happen. Okay, even though the government does it all the time to other countries, but still, yeah.
That's do things illegally. They do things cash, and they do stuff without registering it, without doing any paperwork. They steal guns when they rob a house. One of the things that they steal is guns so they can turn around and flip and sell them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we're to follow the rules. The rules are bullshit. Okay, just point blank, they're bullshit. But we follow them. It's a pain in the butt. But we're all this, and we all have this, and we're paying these fees, and we're waiting these periods, and we're doing this, and we're doing that, but we're following the law because we're the good guys. We still get penalized. It's crap. It's total crap, but it's better to follow because for everybody who doesn't follow the laws are not these firearm manufacturers. How many times have we read about firearm manufacturers that have screwed up something and they didn't serialize the gun and they take major fines from the ATF? So it starts with them. They've got to record this piece of metal going down the line, or plastic, going down the line all the way from beginning to end, and then what distributor it goes to. The distributor's got to, what FFL, the FFL, who they sell it to, and so on and so forth. It's a load of, I understand, the traceability has some relevance, but for the most part, though, I'm with everybody else. I don't want to be on the list. I don't want them knowing what I've got, so they knock on my door one day and say, we've got this list, you better turn over everything on the list. I don't like makes us any safer. But until the laws change, we have to be good shepherds of the 2A community and follow the law. It sucks. It's kind of like falling on your sword. You're being the good guy, you're taking one for the team, whatever it is, you're doing the right thing even though the right thing is wrong. Yeah. Because the law says, and we're all law-abiding citizens. We're not the people that these people who hate us think we are. We're not going out there and doing stuff. And when there is a law broken, it's a simple mistake. Any of us can make a simple mistake because they changed the law and we didn't know it. Somebody who we thought knew, like a cop or an FFL, told us this, and come to find out it's wrong or whatever. One of the times I did a private transaction, I bought a handgun from a guy I knew. He wanted to sell it because he wanted money to buy a different handgun, was kind of interested. So he gave me a deal on it, more money than what he would make if he traded it in on the handgun he wanted, and less money for me than if I bought it brand new. It was only a year old and it hadn't been shot a lot and blah, 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 blah. I knew the guy. Yeah. I was comfortable doing the transaction because I knew the guy. Anyhow, you know how I said we had the 3 copies? Well, about a year or so later, another buddy wanted to sell me a handgun. And that's when I found out that he thought I still had my Conceal pistol license. I let it expire, and I drove 90 minutes out to his house for him to say, sorry, dude, you got to come. I trust you, but you know how the law is, once again, being a good shepherd. So I was digging through my safe looking for the old card, so I know exactly what to put on there. Oh, crap. I've got both copies. The 3 perforations, I only tore the one and gave it to the guy that I bought the gun from a year ago, gave him his copy. I still had the police department's copy. I immediately called local police. I said, hey, my name's so-and-so. I just realized that I bought this handgun a year ago, and I guess give us a serial number. And I gave them a serial number, and they gave me my name, my address, everything. They said, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Just drop it by whenever you get a chance.
Okay.
Simple as that. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to have that experience, but they had, because I guess this guy had he had done something with his, or told the police. I don't know, but somehow or another they knew I had that gun. They knew I had made that purchase, and it's like, hey, whatever. So I dropped it by, and then when I got the next one that I did a private transaction, I immediately took it. Drove straight from his house to the drop box and dropped the card off. So I mean, sometimes when you're honest with law enforcement, it just makes it worse. And sometimes when you're honest, it pays off. You just got to make a judgment call. But the bottom line is, even if we don't agree with the laws, they're crap. They don't make us safer. It's probably better just to go ahead and follow them, and try to. This is why we advocate. This is why we're part of these organizations. We're trying to get these laws changed.
No, man, I hear you. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I've been kind of in and out here with my earpiece in and out of my ear. I don't know, maybe this has already been said, but even if you're in a state where you can do a transfer, you can do a sale without having to do a 4473 or anything like that. I guess my biggest fear is if I bought the gun brand new and ATF or somebody has record that I'm the one that purchased that gun, and apparently they can go back and see the original purchaser. Then if I turn around and sell that privately and we don't do any kind of paperwork on it and just go, then if that gun would ever be stolen, used in a crime, anything like that, I know whose door they're going to come knocking on first. It's going to be mine. And so I can understand, I guess, why that there are different laws for handguns and long guns, but I guess just in this day and age, it's a sue happy world, and even if it's not ATF, if it's just a civil suit or something like that, why would anybody not cover their butt, spend a couple dollars, get that transfer taken care of? It's legally no longer yours, and you've got proof.
Well, and the person you're selling it to might not want to do that. And you might say, well, fine, I'll go find somebody that will. That's the only bad thing is I don't want that. I don't want that on record. I don't want that. No. I don't want any record. I mean,
I hope I'm never that strapped for cash that I'm so desperate I'll sell it to anybody. And I mean, I hope I never have to take that risk because I need the money so bad. Hopefully, I'm never in that position. But I mean, if that's the case, do what you got to do to survive. But man,
I don't like the universal background checks. I don't like them, but I think that the average citizen should be able to do a NICS check. I don't think you need to be an FF. I think that even if we had to pay like a $10 fee or something, I don't care, whatever. But the whole point is, if you want to do a private transaction and you don't have a 4473, you're not an FFL or whatever, and you don't know the person because it's not your cousin, your brother, your neighbor, your coworker, whatever it is, it's somebody, and you say, show me your driver's license, I'm gonna call this number, plug it in, and we're gonna get a proceed, deny, or delay. Why not make it available? Put it on an automated system and make it available to the average citizen. And then somebody's going to say, well, now you can find out if I'm a bad guy. Well, it's not telling you the criminal history. It's just saying proceed, deny, delay. That's all they say on a NICS. They don't say, don't give this guy a gun because he's
Again, I mean, what stops somebody from going ahead and completing the sale anyway?
Well, no, I'm not saying you make it a law. I'm saying you make it an option. No, I'm saying you make it an option.
Or don't need an FFL at all. And then, you know what? The burden of responsibility is on the buyer. If you're a felon, you already know that you can't have this. If you still try to buy it from me and you show me your driver's license, that's cool.
They're both.
I'd rather just get wiped off the books entirely. And then buyer, it's people need to maybe man up a little bit and take responsibility for their own actions. Don't hold the seller responsible because the seller didn't commit a crime.
But that's not the way the law looks at it. The law is gonna. It's bullcrap. It just is. That's why I'm saying, don't make it a law that you have to do a background check on a private sale, but give a person an option if they choose to. If they want to take that extra step, they should have the same rights as an FFL to run a NICS on somebody if they want. They should never make it a law. It's up that way. If you do sell to your brother, you don't have to do a NICS. You know your brother. Okay, but if you're at a gun show and you've never met this guy, you don't know him from Adam, and you decide you want to do a NICS,
Yeah, but couldn't you anyway? Couldn't you just take that gun to an FFL and do a transfer and pay the fee and leave?
Now you're paying fees, and some of these fees are ridiculous, and now there's a paper trail that nobody wants, and blah 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 blah.
And I hear it. I wish they had an app where you could put in the person's name, address, and driver's license number, and it gives you a green light or a red light. I mean, that would
and that's all you really need: a green or red.
So, this person's clear. This person's not clear. If they had an app that would let you do it, But then it's like, well, then there's a record of driver's license numbers and addresses on the app, and then there's going to be data mining, and then they're going to find you. It's like, I don't think there's any real good answer for it. But guys, Ghost is joining us, Ghost Tactical. Hey, again, I wanted to bring up your podcast because it really kind of made me think a little bit just about things in general. It was a really good podcast when you had the guy on. I think we might have been talking about guns in schools and like a security team. That was the episode. Ghost, do you want to chime in on any of this at all? And again, I thank you for making the concealed carry insurance video. It actually helped me think about this. So, but yeah, what's up, man?
I mean, the ATF guy, I met him at Wanamaker. He was he owned a company that I got a couple products from. He was a cool guy. Asked if he could be on the show. Said sure. He said he was ATF, previous ATF. Well, I don't know if he was ATF or he was on a task force with ATF.
Yeah.
Then he gets on the show and starts talking crazy stuff. I mean, and I'm not saying by any means am I ever going to say that that the ATF doesn't have a database. I just don't think they have a database anyone can pull up at any given time and find out what you have. That's just me. I'd like to think that they wouldn't. But as far as what we're talking about right here in private sales, this is just my opinion. And you said there's no easy way. For me, the only easy way is don't sell a firearm to someone you don't know that you don't know if they're going to be responsible. That's the only way around this. Is that's just me. I'm not going to sell a firearm to anyone that's not someone that's a friend of mine or someone that I know and trust that they're going to be responsible with. But that's basically the only way to be sure about it. Is if you're going to sell to someone that you don't know, man. I mean, like you said, there's so many things you can do. There's so many things you can't do. But for me, the only way to be sure is just don't sell to someone unless you know them already.
Yeah.
What about the flip side of that, Ghost? What about?
I sold to a friend at work, and then he sold it to somebody who sold to somebody that had to get stolen using a crime.
That's the whole
I mean,
thing.
it's like, damn. I mean, there's no, and I guess the only easier way to do it would have been to do an FFL transfer. But at the time, it's like, oh, no loss. Guy wants the gun. I'll sell.
You're right. I mean, there's no easy way.
But at least get a name. At least have a name of the person. Say, well, this is their name. This was their address and their CCW or their driver's license. Go find it.
The bill of sale. Just a private bill of sale just between the two of you to where you have something that you could always show somewhere down the line. If someone was to come to you and say, oh, by the way, we do have this serial number registered to you. We're not sure how, but we do. Where's the gun? I have a bill of sale from this guy. Go talk to him, You're not saying you just keep it in your safe or something in case something ever does crazy happen,
Yeah, yeah.
What about the flip side of that, though? What about buying something and then later you find out it was stolen or used in a crime or whatnot, and the purchaser did not disclose that to you? For example, you're at Wanamaker, right? I mean, how likely is it that a milsurp that they've got for sale there or some sort of classic type firearm was stolen or used in a crime? Probably not very likely, but it's not totally out of the realm of possibilities. And then one day you're taking it to the range to test fire it, and you're speeding, you get pulled over, you tell it, yeah, I got a gun, and he goes, yeah, all right, well, pull out the case, I want to. He runs the numbers, and he goes, put your hands on your back. Next thing you know, you're like that guy in that USCCA commercial or whatever.
Yeah.
Officer come up behind me,
and she grabbed me behind my arm, and I said, what are you doing?
Yeah. And because they ran the serial number.
I've seen it like a dozen times.
Because they ran the serial number on your Craig Jorgensen and found out it was stolen from some grandpa's collection a year ago, and this guy's selling it at the gun show, and you didn't know because you're like, oh, cool, finally I get a Craig Jorgensen. What do you do then?
you'd have a bill of sale or a receipt or something showing that you paid for that.
Nope. Nope.
Not
it's a long gun. It's a long gun. There's no universal background check or anything else like that, and I'm not advocating for them. I don't want them. But if I go to the gun show and I see a milsurp rifle that I want, I ain't got to do nothing. I don't even have to show the guy my driver's license.
You don't even get a receipt for your cash purchase at a gun show?
Nothing. Nope. And if I ask for one, they'd probably tell me to go get Ben.
I've never bought a gun show, so I don't know.
And I'm not saying it's a loophole. It's not a loophole. It's not a loophole. But these old timers, two things they don't want to do. They don't want to do paperwork, and they don't want you talking them down on price.
That's what Illinois is doing to try to solve that issue, is making anybody that does a transfer here call the state police and verify the purchaser's void.
And see, that's not too bad there. At least you're getting a proceed or deny. And when you get if you want to buy a handgun, even a Curio and Relic at a gun show, now you've got to do the paperwork. You either have to buy it from an FFL or you better have, your 3 copies of blah, blah, blah to turn into the local police that gets filed with the Michigan State Police. But for long guns, there's nothing. So, and I don't think there should be. And I would really like to see the handgun stuff go away too, but whatever.
mean, as far as the receipts on
Travis, I got to go right now.
Okay, hey, thanks for joining us, Texas. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You said you get your test next week or in 2 weeks.
31st, so not next week, but the week after.
Okay. Well, hey, hang in there and good luck. Get your studying done, and hope the transfer or the job in you said West Virginia works out for you. So awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Thank you.
Cool, man. All right, take care, man. Thanks for joining us.
You too.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, guys, at a minimum, it is good to know the person too. One thing I wanted to show you, and again, you guys were saying, you should only sell the people that you know. A website. Here's what happened. A bunch of the gun groups that I belong to, and this probably happened to you guys too. We're on Facebook, gun groups in Facebook, and they booted all of us out when they got rid of the gun sale groups and so on. I joined MeWe, which basically all the gun groups that I belong to on Facebook had transferred over to MeWe, which is just a social networking platform. This is what I use. I'm just saying, if you want to sell a gun and you don't know where to start, you could go to MeWe and you can join one of the gun groups. You can get to know the people that are on there. You can look at their profiles. Now, people can set up a fake profile, but all the people that I've looked at, all the people that are on here, these are people that I remember from Facebook and so on, and you can look them up. And all these little gun sites, they do mention all the specifics, but they do private sales through the MeWe website. And I have sold guns through this before. You can also post a question in the stream and say, hey, has anybody ever sold a gun to this person? I want to make sure that it's going to be a good sale. People say, yeah, he's a good guy. I've sold to him 5 or 6 times, or no, I don't know who he is. But people are fairly social on this platform over here. Obviously, it's a social networking platform. But like I said, all the gun groups that were over on Facebook went over to MeWe. So if you want a place to start, you don't want to do some dark parking lot transaction with somebody somebody who knows somebody that knows somebody that wants to buy your gun. You can at least get into a community where you can get to know somebody, or again, come over to gunchannels.com. I don't know if we necessarily have the classifieds anymore, and I don't know if gun sales were available on Gun Channels. Does the new Gun Channels have a classified section? Because I couldn't find it. And I'm not ripping on it. I'm just saying. What's that?
24-hour gun show down at the bottom of the page.
Okay. So there is so do we offer private sales through that?
It's a classified, basically.
Okay. So again, that if you want to get to a place where you can get to know people and get comfortable with people, and you can always ask, hey, is that Night Strike 1 somebody I should buy a gun from, right? Since he's not here, he can't defend himself. No, because he's going to sell you a gun with his DNA already on it. He's going to have blood on his 1911 that he's selling you.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, Night Strike's all right.
What? No, I know. We're just giving you crap. Since he's not here to defend himself, we got to pick on him, right? Or hey, should I buy from that Travis P11 guy? He's got this gun for sale. And again, the thing is, if you
buy from him, I would have bought from him before he shaved the beard, but now I don't know.
Oh my God!
But I don't know that you can.
I'm no longer worthy to
Nebraska.
What's that, Tony?
I don't know that you can trust anybody from Nebraska.
We're too friendly. That's part of the problem. We're way too friendly. That's why people don't trust us.
That has facial hair.
Like Tony, if you moved in next door, we would bring you a casserole and cookies that night. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. You're like, who the hell are you? I'm your neighbor, man. There's so few of us in this state. We just kind of cling to people
I can tell you what you would say. You would say, hello, Smith & Wesson.
Jesus, Tony, we're just bringing.
Tony would be out there doing the whole. He'd be doing the whole "get off my lawn."
Get off my lawn.
I don't mind people running on the grass, man.
Oh my God.
Just that much less I got to mow it.
No, Nebraska's a weird place, man. Sandhills, you've had this happen where in your Walmart just looking at something, and the person standing next to you just starts talking to you about it. You ever had that experience, Sandhills, in Walmart? You're just sitting there and they're like, yeah, this is a good brand of Velcro. It's like,
when have I not had that experience in Walmart?
Really? Oh, man, it's just older people that tend to do that. So maybe it's just because I'm plump and jolly and ignorant looking.
No, I'm saying, has it happened? When has it not happened? It always happens every time.
Yeah, okay.
As long as you don't talk about an experience you had at a Walmart in the bathroom, okay?
No. I don't even use Walmart bathrooms unless I absolutely have to. Seems like everybody in there's got diarrhea except you. You ever notice that in the Walmart bathroom? There's just Cursey flush, bro. Cursey flush. Anyway.
I'll tell you, my reason thinking on Nebraskans is you guys live in a place that every form of horrible weather and geological occurrence is going to happen at some point.
Don't have volcanoes.
Oh, no, yeah, I was going to say, they don't have volcanoes. But
we have
you think Yellowstone
earthquakes that have happened. We've had some earthquakes of magnitude 5s that have happened in the last couple of years. blizzards, hail, tornadoes, heavy winds.
When Yellowstone blows, you're fucking gone.
I don't know.
But you get fresh corn every year. So, I mean,
Yeah.
It is really nice out there, though, Travis. It is.
We're within the fallout distance for major military installations in Colorado and Omaha, so we're pretty much screwed there. So, oh well, I got a basement. Yeah, that'll work. No. I hear you, Nat. No, that's cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's a fun place to live. It's an interesting place to live. I like it. People are pretty cool and very friendly. So, man.
I at least don't refer to it like I do Kansas, which is the most boring son of a bitch I've ever been in.
At least you can get across it quickly. But hey, they've got Brahms, so that's why I like Kansas. It's always a good place to stop to get lunch. So, and they've got nice roads. They have nice roads. Oh my God, I'm jealous. We'd give to have pavement like that in our state. Oh. Well, I'll tell you what. Nice roads.
You should be able to drive to Kansas at about 210 miles an hour.
I know it'd be cool if they'd open it up a little bit. On the western parts, it should just be. They're actually up in our state speed limits around here too. The 2-lane highways are all slowly transferring to 65, and the interstate's going to be bumping up from 75 to 80 here eventually. There's sections of it that they're starting to push up now, so you can get across our state even faster if you want to.
I think it's finally sticking into them that 55 is too boring on a flat, straight road.
Yeah. Samson 1, friendly neighborhood welcome wagon works better with facial hair. Clean shaven is creepy. I know, man. I'm sorry. I know my beard. We should just have a discussion about the beard the whole time today. We don't need to talk about anything. We just talk
Welcome to Beard Chat with Travis P11.
Or lack of beard.
I'll tell you what my dad told me, and that's he would never let nothing grow on his face that grows wild on his ass.
Oh my God.
Sage advice.
And on that note, no. Okay, so let's move on to our last topic here. And this is something, whether you have experience with it or not, we'll go into one final screen share. This was a request. A person wanted to know about cowboy action shooting on horseback. And if you do any kind of search on that, one of the first things that's going to pop up is SAS, which is the Single Action Shooting Society. So how to sum up this experience? I have friends that shoot in this, with this league, with this group, okay? It's essentially kind of an Old West role-playing that you do. You create your alias. You have your period-correct clothing that you wear. You're restricted on the types of firearms that you can use. They have to be single action or certain lever guns or certain shotguns. They do offer mounted horseback shooting, but I just wanted to talk about SAS a little bit and some of the equipment and the gear and the guns and so on. So does anybody here have any experience with SAS at all?
Well, I am a member.
Not ever shot
Okay, Tony's a member. So anybody?
Nope.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I've never shot it before, but when I shoot IDPA, the club that I shoot a lot of my local matches at, they always have a cowboy going at the right next door.
Yep,
it's pretty awesome. When we get done, we'll go there and watch them a little bit, and it's pretty cool. And I don't know if it was a local thing or not, and Tony might be able to expand on this, but the guns and the rifles that they use either have to be prior to a certain year or replicas thereof. And I don't know if that's a local thing or if that's an actual rule, but it's kind of cool to see these old Winchesters or Henrys being used,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of latitude in some parts of it, like the 1894, 1895 era stuff gets in. If you're doing black powder only, then no, it's nothing after Winchester 73. And there's so many divisions of this SAS thing that it's hard to wrap your head around all of it. But I've not actually seen a match.
Okay.
I was going to go to one today, and I decided to just stay
Oh man,
here
they're
instead.
fun.
They have them all across the country. I mean, surprisingly, there isn't one scheduled for Nebraska this year, but there's Kansas, Colorado, all across the country. It's a huge organization, and it's only $75 a year to join it. And I think you can buy a life membership for $800, and you get to participate in all the events and activities and so on.
With that $75 and re-up, and don't cost it that much.
65.
They send you a fair amount of shit at first. They send you a badge that would probably cost you $30 to buy online.
Okay.
With your number in it, your individual member number.
Yeah.
Of course, you get the card and the certificate with your alias that has your number on it too.
What's your alias? Is it Yankee Marshall? Isn't that what you told me it was? No. Oh, I was just curious.
My alias is Wes Bloody Boots Wesley.
Nice. Very cool.
My middle name's Wesley. My eldest natural born grandson goes by Wes, and I like oxblood colored boots. So
cool.
That's where that come from.
Well, and they have an entire online alias database where you can look up if you got a name that you think you want to use. You can look and see if there's if that name's already being used, and if it isn't, you can actually file the paperwork to get that registered to you, and that's your alias. And then you develop that character for the events. Like my friends were dressed up in their period correct garb. They had their period correct firearms with them. And so, yeah, they have all kinds of different. And then the mounted horseback events that they also sponsor, if you're kind of curious about that, what I've seen is basically on a horseback. First of all, you have to understand when you're at these events, they have you go through stages where a lot of it is recreations of famous shootouts. You shoot at the same kind of targets that this Old West shootout, like any kind of a historically correct or a historical record gunfight, they'll recreate stages from that where you'll shoot at your targets. Like there might be a shootout at this corral or a shootout at this mission or whatever. And those are what the stages are all about. And they're timed events. And you shoot with your firearms. Yeah.
Let me kind of expand on the actual categories. Okay. There is black powder, which I kind of mentioned before, which it's all authentic clothes and authentic weaponry or good reproductions thereof. Then there's your basic cowboy part of it, which is any good reproduction of the cowboy era guns, just like the 94 Winchesters and all that sort of stuff. And shotguns, you get pretty much any old school double barrel that could have been around at the time. It doesn't have to be hammered. You can have internal hammers as long as, it looks the part. Or Winchester 97, and that's the only pump they allow according to the rules.
Mm-hmm.
The next group, and I want to say for most of these, it requires 2 handguns. You have to have 2. The next group would be B Westerns, which is the one that is probably the most entertaining to be in and watch, because then you get all the flamboyant shit, because you're trying to look like fucking Roy Rogers, or something like that. The sequins, the different two-tone collar and bottom of the shirt. But I want to throw out there, anybody thinking about getting into it, go watch a couple of matches and see if you really think you're going to be into it, because it is fucking expensive.
What do we say the least amount you could get into a revolver? You got to have 2, but what we looked it up one time. Was it Cimarron or Rossi? Yeah. Who it was? What, 375?
Yeah, it was 350, 375, and you have to have 2 of those.
Okay.
A rifle is going to cost $500.
You can use the recreation, depending on your class, the 1897 pump action shotgun. Is it Winchester or Remington?
Yeah, the pump is 1897 Winchester, or a clone is the only one you can use.
Okay.
Or double barrels. Double barrels, you get a pretty wide choice. I'm using a hammerless NR Davis, which is actually from the period.
Now let's talk about ammo here. Are you allowed to shoot 38 special instead of 357 to save money?
Sure. What they have is they have parameters. It's got to be able to go over 400 feet per second, and not over 1,000, I think. And it has to be lead. It can't be plated or jacketed or other material besides lead. Now, it can be powder coated.
Okay.
And I think they might let polymer bullets slide. I don't know.
Well, if you got to knock down steel targets, if you're expected to if you have to knock something down, you just have to make contact with the target, or do you have to knock it down? I think it's it depends on the stage. It depends on what you're doing, right? Some of them might be knockdowns. Others are just hit the silhouette.
at my range, there's one knockdown, there's a dueling tree, and then there's a bunch of stationary. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How much power is required.
You know, if you don't reload, you're looking at a bit of an investment in ammo too to get through one of these matches. I guess it depends on how much you're going to need to practice and you know how many rounds you're going to go through in your typical match. You might be looking at a significant investment because 357 and 44 mag is not inexpensive. In my opinion, it's not inexpensive ammo to buy at the store. You're looking at what, $25 for a box of 357, and then 44 mag goes up from there.
But if you want to buy cowboy action loads where it's loaded down and whatnot, those cost even more.
No.
Yeah.
45 long cold is, man, God, that's expensive.
Well, you can get
only
44.
Got a couple boxes of that, yeah.
You can get 44 special, I believe. MagTech makes a cowboy load for that. If I probably got a box of it. I thought when I got my Henry, I think I picked that up, but I haven't shot it. I haven't shot that particular load yet. But
Okay.
I mean, hey Tony, can't you just you can just load up your stuff with black powder and then you're within the compliance for the SAS rules, right?
Yes, and if you're in the black powder matches, you have to use black powder or a substitute. It has to put out a certain amount of smoke.
Okay.
Which I don't want to be there. That's not wherever I wanted to go in the first place because I did not want to shoot cap and ball. You know, and that's the only pistol that falls into the category. They have to be muzzle loaders.
Yeah, I'd be over there.
But God, just off the top of my head, I think I've got somewhere $5,000 or $6,000 into the stuff to do it, and I've yet to go to a match because I ain't quite got everything.
Well, and you've got your travel expenses if you have to go any distance to get to it, you know. I would say we'll just watch some YouTube videos. Now, there's some really cool kind of intro to SAS videos that I was watching last night just to kind of, I mean, like I said, I had gone to one of the little introduction to SAS events I went to, and it was fun. I got to play around with some of the guns and do some of the shoots and stuff. And again, on horseback, what I saw is they have you shoot two groups of targets. There's 5 balloons you have to shoot.
Balloons, yeah. Balloons.
Yeah, and you use what they call black powder blanks. So are you just hitting them with, what's hitting
the
them?
wad?
Just
I think it's a wad, right?
Okay. Yeah, they say you have to shoot. It's a black powder blanks is what you're firing, and you have to hit the balloon with the blanks.
And to continue where I was at, mounted SAS is another offshoot, which I don't think my club has anything to do with. And there's also side matches like buffalo guns and things like that.
Yeah.
And of course, I bought a gun for that, which is shit. That was $750. And that was cheap. But go and see a couple of matches before you start buying because it's tough if you ain't got lots of money to spend. I've been collecting for 2 years to get enough stuff to do it.
Now, they're also showing a new one here, the Wild Bunch action shooting. Tony, have you read about that at all?
I was going to go to that.
Yeah.
The Wild Bunch is for guys that want to mimic basically the era of the Spanish-American War. You can use the early bolt-action rifles and 1911s. Now, how they fit 1911 into this category, I don't know.
Because Butch Cassidy carried a 1911. And that was turn of the century still. I mean, think about it. Arizona didn't become a state till 1912. So there was still, even into the teens and 20s, there was still Old West, air quotes, stuff going on.
Yeah, I guess that's why they probably tagged it Wild Bunch as opposed to, Spanish-American War era stuff.
I mean, he didn't start out carrying a 1911, but at some point he had one near the end of their little, criminal activity.
The governing board of SAS is called the Wild Bunch.
I think it's not necessarily the Spanish-American War. I think it was Mexican Revolution era because that was the start date was 1910. I'm not trying to fact check.
The Pancho Villa type.
Yeah,
stuff?
it's between 1910 and 1920. It would be the era. Yeah, that's why they're coming up with the 90s. Because I'm thinking that because I remember watching the movie. There's the guy fighting against Pancho Villa. He needs the guns or whoever the main general was who needed guns to fight against the rebels and stuff. And I
really don't delve into details on the ones that I'm not interested in much.
Oh yeah. It is cool they offer it though. I mean, that would maybe lower the price a little bit for guys because you might already have something like that sitting around that you could use.
Right, and it shouldn't require two. You know, you should not have to use two semis or 1911s.
Yeah.
If you're mimicking what they were portraying as somebody who carried one.
What? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whereas the cowboy action side of it, the ones that are doing now cowboys, the cowboys were the duelists, especially carried two guns.
Yeah.
Believe me, I did not like having to purchase two Ruger Vaqueros to do this thing. And then two 1875 Outlaws too. Because I'm using one in a different, one, I'm going to do cowboy action and be Western. And I wanted those different guns.
How much are we looking at to get into one of those 1897 replica shotguns? Who manufactures one of those right now? Is there any company? Are there any companies you know of where you can? Who makes those?
Companies knocking them off. I think Rossi might.
Okay.
And theirs is probably going to be $800 to $1,000. And I seen somebody doing one for under 500, but I can't remember who it was.
Okay. And what about the? Go ahead.
Ratty ass old one around there too.
Yeah. How much are we looking at for what is the least expensive 44 mag lever action you could get into, or lever action that you could get into? What are we looking at here? Marlin? Did they make they got a 44 mag? They do, don't they?
Yeah, I have a Marlin 44 mag.
Okay. How much are we talking? $400 for one? I'm looking at $499 at Academy. Just what's popping up on a Google search.
My cowboy gun was $7, but there were cheaper options.
Yeah, $600 in stocks. So you got a lot of options out there. So you could get into it. Oh, $1,500, I'd say minimum for just the firearms. If you're figuring $500 for a 1911, if you go with like a Rock Island GI model, if that's the most basic version you could get. Lever action for about $600, and then your 1897 shotgun for $600. Yeah, it's going to cost you about $1,800 for the guns to get into it. Not that we want to let that drive you away from it, but like you said, Tony, you're looking at a fairly significant investment into it. But it is fun. I mean, I can see that'd be something fun to do once you hit retirement, or if it's just your primary shooting hobby. You can make the most of it. They do have national championships that are going to be held in Phoenix. Well, they already held in February. This June, they're having the World Championship of Cowboy Action Shooting in Edgewood, New Mexico. That'd be pretty cool to see that, June 14th through the 24th. And I mean, and what I saw on the YouTube video clips about SAS itself, there are some amazing shooters in this. And these guys shoot so fast, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's hard to believe you can make a revolver run that damn fast.
There was a couple kids that were shooting. I was just like, whoa, that is this kid fired through his two revolvers and the pumps and the lever actions. I mean, he was whipping through it. So, and I'm sure they've got divisions for maybe the novices and stuff like that. You're not going to be thrown in with the, the pros from day one. At least I would hope not. I would hope they'd have something where beginners can actually compete against other beginners or different levels of experience. Maybe that's how they group you together when it comes to these actual events themselves.
I do not know, to be honest with you. It is that's not been specified anywhere. Is something that you really want to do. If you're really thinking you're going to be competitive, get online and watch one of the Trails In matches.
Yeah.
And you'll see people that can manipulate their guns extremely fast, faster than you'd think it's possible. And these people pay thousands of dollars to get their guns to work that way.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a huge freaking turnoff for me.
Yeah.
Because they're buying talent, basically. I mean, granted, they're good at handling the gun and whatnot, but your newbie going into it, he's not going to be able to plunk down that much money unless lucky. Like I said, I've been 2 years getting the shit together to do it. And I could have done it already. I mean, but I wanted the buffalo gun, a couple other things. I didn't need 4 revolvers to do it. This is going to be the hobby. So, I wanted it. I bought it.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's going to be just like any kind of competitive shooting. To get into it, you're going to be looking at a minimum amount of money. Not that we're trying to discourage you guys from doing it, but just understand the financial investment that comes along with these things. It's fun. It's cool. If anything, it might even be more exciting just to go watch, or if you know somebody that's into it, maybe you can just go to the range with them and try out the gear and the equipment and stuff. But what I did was pretty exciting. But when I looked at what it would cost me to get into it, it's like, man, I'm looking at $2,500 for everything, the guns, the clothing, the membership fees, the ammo, which, it's just, if that's what you want to do it,
If you go and watch and you want to try it, there's most likely somebody that will let you use their equipment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I did 3-gun, I borrowed a shotgun because I don't have a semi-automatic shotgun in my collection, which is crazy, but I've always got by on my over-under and my pumps, so.
And it's their first concern in the cowboy action event is the looks of the thing, the costuming. The actual shooting event is secondary. There's as much pomp and circumstance to judging the uniforms, the outfits that you wear, as there is, maybe even more so, than the actual shooting events, because they'll honor a couple of people there, but, they want to judge these various groups' costumes. And, they mention numerous times throughout stuff I've read about SAS that that's what they want to be the most authentic, is the look.
Okay. Well, and they're having you go through these historical reproduction stages that you go through. You've got your alias that you develop. They're getting you try to do the whole experience, but in one end, they're also maybe taking away from the shooting a little bit. I don't know, by having so much emphasis on the look.
And a lot of them are like, say they're staging the shoot out the Okie Corral, which are creating quote. You'll have to say throw up your hands, boys. I'm here to take your guns before you start.
Mm.
So that's the kind of thing that they're trying to create, and competitive human nature turned it into a really fast shoot event. But, they're still focusing on the costuming.
Yeah. Now, Tony, I got a question for you. This one's coming from the YouTube side. Do they have a poor man's version?
No.
Could you just get that pair of Wranglers boots, that white cotton shirt, and just wear that if you need to? I mean, can you?
Your poorest man's version.
We talked about these jeans before. Yeah.
Levi's 501s.
Okay.
Button fly jeans. Get by with those. But, you're expected to have either the vest or the duster or chaps. You got to have spurs. You got to have the hat, bandana, or bolo tie, which I have both.
Dang.
It's just, there's so many piddly little things that, for one, hard to find. I mean, you not just everywhere around the middle of Illinois sells a fucking cowboy hat, so you can go in and try it on.
Yeah. I'm laughing at the comments. Those guys, I'm sorry. I'm just the people or the comments are saying it on the side are a lot. One guy wants to audition as the town drunk.
There's a certain challenge that was fun finding this stuff.
Yeah.
And I went overboard with what I bought because I wanted specific things for myself.
Yeah.
Like the 2 different pairs of revolvers. Well, I wanted those 1875s. I wanted one. And the gun store offered me a deal if I took both of them, and I did. So I've spent way more money than I had to. Don't tell my wife.
Yeah.
But you're still looking at a couple $1,000. I don't think you can get into it cheaper than that. if you're starting with nothing.
I mean, I'm thinking $2,000 for the guns alone, $500 for each revolver if you can even get in at that point, $500 for a shotgun if you're going to do a double barrel, and $500 for lever action. You know, I mean, I'm just going off the top of my head. That'd be the minimum, I think, to get into it, you know.
Odds are, if you go to matches, you can participate with borrowed stuff while you're doing it, you know, while you're accumulating your stuff. So, you know, there is that. So, yeah, in a way, there's poor man's stuff. But
there's, go ahead.
I don't think they'll let you do a stage if you're not dressed for it, at least partially. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Like I said, I've not done it.
I'm just kind of glancing at some of the clothing that's out there too, and it's you're looking at a bit of an investment for the clothing, the hat, the boots, and but no, I think it. You know, again, if you want to do that kind of thing, if you want to get that involved in it, go right ahead. I mean, I think it would be a lot of fun, be exciting, and you know you're going to be going in for the full experience if you do that. So
I'm not trying to steer anybody away from it. I just want
it's a reality check for somebody who says, "Ooh, cowboy shooting, I want to do that," and then you start to get yourself into debt because of what it costs you to actually get into it, you know?
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, people that do it, that's a big hobby for them. So, yeah.
That's how I ended up with all these damn single actions in the first place. Ruger Super Blackhawk, and then found out that I really couldn't use it.
Yeah.
Except there's one set of side matches that lets you use adjustable sight handguns.
Okay.
I well know I don't that.
Yeah.
I sure don't want to have to buy 2 of those.
Well, you know, if there's one of these matches in your area, go watch it. Go have fun. Go check it out. I don't know if it costs anything to watch it. It probably doesn't. Maybe the championships, they charge like a door, you know, an admission fee to get in. But do try something new, you know. And again, it promotes firearm ownership, safe use of firearms, you know, some kind of a sporting side to the firearms also in terms of the shooting itself and the targets and the historical aspect of it. So I think it'll work.
Yeah, if you are really interested in it, you want to try it, go on SAS's website and look up their rules, and they'll give you the whole rundown of what's expected, the safety rules, because they do have fairly stringent safety rules.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of people crowded right there while you're shooting. So there's you know, if somebody screws up, there's a possibility of people getting really hurt.
Oh, yeah.
But it still strikes me as fun, even though I know I'm not going to be competitive. Because I can't even move my thumb that fast, let alone thumb a gun that way.
Yeah. Just after looking at it, it looks like it'd be something kind of exciting. I mean, I like to watch competitive shooting anyway, and something that's kind of historical based and has a bit of a theme to it. I just think that'd be a lot of fun to check out. So Tony, thank you for your feedback on that. Guys, we do have a couple minutes left. If there's any questions you want to throw out there in the chats, either on the gun channel side or the YouTube side, you can do that. Rob D has a suggestion. How about Goodwill for the outfit and the cheapest cowboy gun I can find? There you go. But guys, if you had any gun questions here before we go ahead and call it, otherwise we'll just go ahead and wrap it up for this week. And it's probably still raining outside. I don't know. Can't see outside, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what's going on here. Stephen Dawkins said, Travis, I saw one of your blogs, somebody who was doing a 303 wanted a Carcano. And if you didn't see the message, the guy says, I purchased a 6.5 as a wall hanger. If you're still interested, I think it was Sean Pottery. Sean, if you're still with us, you might want to check that out. You were looking for one. Sean, I think you said maybe you were going to try to pick one up last year or next year in Tulsa, because I think there's quite a few of them that were sitting around. Patrick said, I want to get an 1875 Remington Outlaw 7.5 inch and an 1873 Colt Single Action Army 5.5 inch. Sure. Sounds good. But again, any gun questions, throw them out there now. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and call it until next week. We covered a lot of different topics today. Again, if you're just joining us, we talked about concealed carry legal protection, selling inventory, as in private gun sales, and cowboy action shooting. So we've had a little bit of everything. These are all, again, viewer requested topics. We're probably going to do this for a while before we go back to just one single topic. I've got enough topics listed on that Instagram post to probably have another 20 episodes of this show at least. So I don't think we're going to run out of topics, but we might just have a variety of topics just as a heads up. So let's see, not seeing anything that comes around. So we'll go ahead and close this one out. So joining us over on the gun channel side, I would like to thank Paper Plane Crash for joining us. Thank you, sir. Let's see, Tony. Tony was with us. He's here and he's there. We've also got Squib, Ozzy Osbourne. Yesterday's Pomade was with us on the Gun Channel side also. And on the YouTube side, we've got a pretty good crowd that was watching. We got Jorge Cortez joining in. By the way, Jorge, somebody wanted to use your name for SAS, so just be forewarned. You might want to hurry up and register that before somebody takes it. Samson won. Nice chat, guys. Missed the first half. Hey, go back and watch it if you want to. SS Pond, thanks for joining us, Stan. I do appreciate it. Love the store. Philo, thanks for joining us also. Who else was with us here? Rob D, Vandalistica Vlogs, Calaveras 32 SBCL or special. Patrick was with us also. A lot of good comments and a lot of good chats going on today. It was a lot of different topics to talk about. Stephen Dawkins for joining us also. Swanger 70. I don't know if I've seen you here before, bud. Welcome to the chat if you've never been here before. David Bowling also. Sean Ponnery was with us too. So guys, I think that's pretty much about it. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. Oh, tacos and French fries as usual, which I'm now hungry for those. See a couple announcements about the channel.
You're not the only one.
Who, what, huh? Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to go get some breakfast after this. Let's see, McDonald's has breakfast for 30 more minutes, so no.
Taco John's, man. Taco John's.
They have really good breakfast. Surprisingly, look up their menu. They have got some killer breakfast burritos. And it's Americanized, Mexican food, if you want. They call it West Mex, right? They've got some good chorizo burritos. They've got some good breakfast burritos, man.
Next time I'm out that way, I want to go there and I want to go back to Runza. So I want to leave Nebraska fat, dumb, and happy.
Hey, I am every day. We have what's called, this sounds illegal. We have the pack and the pound. We're gonna go to 6-pack and a pound. My friends and I, that's all we would call it. We go to Taco John's and get a 6-pack and a pound. And what it is it's 6 tacos, hard shell or soft shells, and a pound of the potato olays, which are those little round potato gems with the seasoned salt on them. And man, those things, they're like $10 or $11, but you get one of those and you can live on it for a couple of days. It'd make dinner and breakfast. And yeah, go get a pack and a pound. They got good churros too, which are really hard to find. So good churros. But anyway, yeah, no, we'll do that. But hey, Squib, they are building a Runza in our town. Finally, it's going to happen. I've been waiting 17 years, and they're finally going to open one up in our town, which is funny.
Are they going to have you cut the ribbon? Are you going to be at the?
Man, I'm going to camp. I'm going to camp out. I'm going to do a live podcast from the front door.
That would be great.
I'm going to throw a tent out. I'm just going to get a sleeping bag and a pillow. I'll let the cops know I'm going to be there. I'm just going to sleep. I'm going to be the first person to buy Runza at this place. And you guys don't know what Runza is, you need to look it up. It's a local chain that well, they're in a few other states, but they're based out of Nebraska. Burgers, fries, shakes, and then they got the Runza, which is like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a baked bread roll filled up with meat and cabbage. And Squib, did you actually try? You tried like a Swiss mushroom Runza, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't bad, but it just made me think I need to try a few more menu items before
just a regular one or a cheese Runza is all you got to just try the original. It's just comfort food, man. It's hard to, unless you grow up with it, it's really hard to know. They've got really good onion rings and stuff like that. So yeah, Runza is awesome. You can order them frozen, by the way, and they do ship them. Just so you know, you can actually, they pack them in dry ice and they do ship them. So you can get a dozen of them if you want to order. I'll have to get you some for Christmas. I'll have some sent to you. They're known for their chili and cinnamon rolls also. Just a good little local chain, but we're finally going to get one. So my diet is so ready for this. Oh my God.
Can we get back to the show so I can?
Oh, here I go again. Here I go with my.
Yeah, sorry. It turns into a food chat way too often.
I turn my fault. Into a food chat. Man, you know, we're men. We eat, we shoot. There's ladies here that like to eat and shoot.
Food that Tony's I can't relate to.
Tony, are you cranky, Tony? Is it time for some grape nuts, Tony?
Hell no.
Time for some bacon, some pancakes. Man, I just started going off on Runza. I'm just elated we're finally getting one. We're the only town on Interstate 80 that doesn't have one with a population over 500. Okay, I just got to say that right now. They've been missing us for years. It's finally going to happen. It's man food before I go to the range. Okay, so let's just have a few closing remarks. Squibby, what do you want to say, bud?
Shall not be infringed.
Woo! Always, always. Thanks for joining us, man. I do appreciate it. Again, check out Squibby over on Gun Channels. You can find him over there, too, if you want to chat with him or you want to check out some of the shows that he does. Did you mention earlier the shows that you do, the podcast that you do?
Monday nights, Lock and Load with Y Volcano Squad, but he's on the mainland right now, so he's not doing any shows until June. Okay. Wednesday, Rick's Life as I See It. Mm-hmm. Rick's also doing a show. He does one every Saturday as well, but I'm usually not able to jump into those. And then Friday night, Budget Guns and Gear Review, Gels My Outdoors, Friday night sights, and edge of the week. So
Yeah.
And then Saturday mornings here.
Yes. Yes, this is true. This is true. I'm looking at some of the suggestions over here. Don't forget the table for the tabletop review. I don't want to review a tabletop.
Now, are you going to show the underside of the table to see if there's any gum sticking to it or anything like that?
There is not, because we refinished it and painted it and stuff like that. No, there is no. There better not be. I guess I never checked before we bought the house, but it's not even. It's a countertop. It'd be a tabletop review of a countertop. How's that supposed to work? God, I might just maybe you know what? Maybe I'll save that for next April. I'll do an April Fool's video of a tabletop review of a tabletop because they're great for reviewing tabletops. So I've actually got an idea for a fun tabletop coming up here pretty soon. I got to wait about another week before I can do it just because it's the anniversary or something. But anyway, Tony, anything you want to plug before we go? Anything you'd like to say? I want to thank you for hanging on this long. I know you're ready to jump off and go get your breakfast on, but
first, back to the cowboy action stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can verify that Birdie does fine quality reproduction stuff for those who are thinking about it. And the Ruger Vaquero is specifically designed for cowboy action shooting. So they're more expensive than the Birdie, but you know, it's a Ruger. You ain't gonna break the damn thing ever.
Yeah, you're gonna be looking at a better fit and finish overall, a little bit higher quality. I mean, not that the Birdie's not going to do the job, but if you're only looking at maybe a $200 difference in the gun, just save up the extra change and just get yourself, something that you know is gonna. And then Birdie, what if you need to send it in for repairs? Is there something stateside where you can send it, or you gonna have to wait to get it repaired? Yeah, that's just it. So whereas Ruger, you've got a factory you can send it to, maybe get better customer service. I would hope so. I would imagine you would.
I've had fantastic customer service from Ruger. What
happened on your gun? Why don't you share with people so they know? It blew up, didn't it? You cracked your frame.
Overload. I blew up the cylinder on my Super Black Hawk Hunter. I sent it to him, told him what I did. Specifically, the guy who I talked to on the phone said, "That's all right. It should have handled that much of an overload." And they fixed it, sent it back, didn't charge me postage or nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, great customer service from Ruger.
Okay. I've never had to send any Rugers in. I mean, I've owned several, and I've never had an issue where I've had to send. I've only had to send in one gun my entire life, and that's it. It was my fault that I broke it, and company fixed it and sent it back, and they were fine with it, no problems. It's free.
I don't want to sound like I'm picking the Birdie or the Ruger over the Birdie because that's not the case.
Yeah.
Birdie makes a lot of guns, and Ruger makes the Vaquero. There's a couple of different options of Vaquero, but they're not like the variety of firearms you can get through Birdie. And my two 1875 Outlaws are Birdies. Man, they are beautiful. And they shoot well.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's important. I mean, you put some rounds through them, you know that they hold up well, they don't have any problems, and it's a nice alternative for somebody who wants to get into it. So
I would not suggest you get the 44 Magnum variety, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Just more of a pain in the ass.
Well, I'm just thinking overall cost. If you're going to be doing this in any kind of competition, unless you reload, you're looking at $30 a box, $35 a box, depending on what you go with.
Well, 45 Colts that way too, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 45 long Colt. That's another one that's just not a cheap. And I can't seem to find a lot of it out there either. I don't know. There's a lot less varieties and a lot less value price 45 long Colt out there. If you really want to do some bulk shooting and stuff, you're going to have to throw out some change. So
if you're going to competitively shoot in about anything that isn't a military round, you just about have to reload or be independently wealthy.
True, which I'm not.
You neither.
Yeah.
And thanks, people, for listening to me ramble on.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm glad you're here, because when it came to SAS shooting, I could have talked about the basics of it and what you can expect if you go to it. But I mean, when it comes to just having a little more knowledge about the specifics, I think it's good that people hear that. And again, it was a viewer request. Hopefully we answered that request. And it's just something we haven't talked about before, cowboy action shooting. And the fact that they do events all across the country means it's something that's accessible to more people. And again, anything that promotes responsible firearm ownership or enthusiast ownership, I'm all for it. So
while I have not been to a match yet, I have watched a lot. And I've done a lot of research on SAS and SAS events. So
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one thing I specifically study, to the point where I went and downloaded back issues of their magazine that they send out. That's another thing you get when you subscribe.
Okay.
I believe it's a quarterly now. But there's not that much in it other than talking about matches.
Yeah. Probably a lot of ads, I would imagine, too, which is not a bad thing for somebody getting into it. You need to know where to go. I mean, you can do a Google search and you can find the clothing and stuff like that, but
there can be one or two gun or related articles of things you'd use, reviews in them, but it's largely a publication of the match information.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's good to hear, man. So Tony, we're going to keep seeing you on the early watch, right?
God willing, yeah.
Good. Great show, guys. You need to check it out. Yes.
Every morning throughout the week that we're able to. And I'm not going to say a specific time because I don't know yet. G-Webs is filling in for Jimmy while he's gone, and we're trying to move it earlier, so G-Webs is trying to stay up all night, and I would like to not keep him up extra to do this. So,
well, maybe this summer, if when we're out of school, when I'm out of school and stuff, we can give G-Webs a couple of days off, and I can maybe fill in or join you in chat. I think it'd be a lot of fun if you guys got a spot for me.
I'm hoping, yeah, we'll have a spot.
Cool.
I'm hoping that Jimmy gets his situation squared away pretty soon, but don't know. You got to work to eat, so
yeah, this is true.
Fault him that.
Yep. All right, man. Cool. Let's see a few shameless plugs here. Again, every Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time, we are here for the most part. There's still a sale going over at Spreadshirt.com. If you go to shop.spreadshirt.com/TravisP11, we got the Travis P11 shirts and just mugs and all that other fun stuff available over there. It's got my channel logo on it, and I have that stuff set up so that I benefit from it as little as possible because I try to keep the price as low as I can. And they're doing 15% off. The whole site is 15% off, I think, for the month of May. So if you want to pick up anything, and also there's a lot of other gun channel people that have stores over there too. Poco Ghibli shirt I bought over there. Never Enough Ammo. Matt, he's got his shirts are available over there too. Night Strike, I think he's got a shop over there also. So there's a lot of us have shops over there. Do check it out. Also, go over to gunchannels.com. Get signed up. Get yourself a membership. Great community to go to. Great place to meet friends, to meet people. Again, there's all kinds of awesome options for it. Start your own channel if you want to. At a minimum, at least create your account because it's free and you can get over there. And just keep checking out the channel, Travis P11, and I'll keep bringing you vids as long as I possibly can. So, guys, I think that's about it. I want to thank you for staying with us for the last 2 hours and 10 minutes. And no, I think we're all good. So, Trigger, we're going to go ahead and call it, man. Trying to see if there's anything else here before we go. Peace out, everybody. Have a great weekend. You guys all have a great weekend, and we will talk to you later. Thanks for joining us. As always, guys. Hey, thanks for joining in. Panel, appreciate you guys over here. Gun Channel side, thanks for joining in. Have fun, be safe, and as always, we will talk to you soon. All right, later, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Bye, Alicia.